So, recapping where we left off, you had just escaped the infamous Durst Manor, aka Death House, as it began to collapse around you after you destroyed the monster in the basement of the cult's lair. It is now apparently turned to morning. To give you an idea of the ambiance or the feeling around you, it feels very much like a cold winter's morning where it hasn't snowed per se, but it's frosty, right? The grass is frosty, everything is cool. The sky is overcast and gray, and though you can see sort of the sun filtering through, there's no direct sunlight. Around you on the landscape, things look quite misty and gray, or otherwise kind of harder to see and washed out. To give you an idea of what it looks like, this is not necessarily your perspective, but this is sort of what the landscape looks like. Suffice to say, you have found yourself in sort of a bleak landscape, but at the edge of your vision, and Mina instinctively feels that this is north to the northwest, you can see the edges of a village, or the shapes of a village through the mists and fog that sort of surround the landscape. To give you the scale here on the map, every hex is about a quarter of a mile, so it's about a mile away, and that's about as well as the limit of your vision.
We casually murdered him.
We're picking up at the moment because we ended with the house just collapsing into ruin. Okay, as we had just literally vacated the premises.
How's Raka doing? Yep. Raka is currently huffing and puffing from his sprint out of the house with you. Sure. He doesn't seem to be harmed or battered too much beyond whatever happened to get him into the shackles in the above the altar. But suffice to say, sprints for his life are perhaps not in his normal repartee.
He is still chubby.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, that didn't abruptly change in the...
He didn't magically lose 50 pounds when we landed in Barovia.
We had described him as being, more fit, so it was weird, yeah, but okay.
So I would like to ask him if he knows anything about where we are or what the heck has happened.
Harmony probably punctuates that with, "Where the fuck have you brought us?"
Raka, kind of is heaving still, and he looks up and kind of looks around the landscape. Oh, I'm not sure. I think I think that's the village of Barovia over there, but I've never come from here. I can't say I've ever gotten here that way either. I'm just as surprised as you are.
Okay, we were on a trail, fell into a river, and then all of a sudden we were in a lake. So, what gives?
Again, I'm just as lost as you. Every time I've come on, it's been on the Svalak Road.
Where would we find your people?
Well,
mention of waterfall. You got camp near a waterfall?
If that's the village, it's a few miles out to the west of the village. But that said, I'm not sure that's the village from here.
Should we avoid the village, or should we go into the village?
It's a town, I won't say like any other. It's perhaps a little humorless since that curse befell the land, but it's all things considered, I think the village is probably fine or safe. At the very least, we could get in somewhere less murdery, and he sort of gestures at the house.
Which is just a pile of rubble, yes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Harmony will kind of indicate her demonic visage and say, "How do they feel about? Do they have any?
How open-minded?
How well?
Are they?
Yes. How open-minded are they?
They might be a little concerned, but to be frank, I think everybody here has seen their fair share of beasties and nasties. This land isn't as hospitable as it used to be.
All right. Well, I could take some.
And I am exhausted and still quite damp from this time. It's no longer raining, correct?
It is no longer raining. It is more of an early morning fog at the moment.
Okay.
And hey, we own property here now.
Real fixer-upper.
I mean, yeah, there is some repairs to be done for sure, but...
Yeah, I suggest we go into town, if for nothing else, just to see if we can get a room.
Get our bearings.
Talk things over and rest up and dry out.
Because, Tom, Ash still has a level of exhaustion from when we nearly drowned, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now so does Harmony.
Soggy dog.
Well, bear in mind, the near drowning is not the cause of the exhaustion. It was that it was below freezing cold when you came out of the lake. Now, it is still cold, but it's more like 45 degrees cold. Definitely chilly, definitely shiver-inducing, but you're not wet anymore. And so, from that standpoint, it's just very cold, but survivably so.
We've downgraded from frigid to cold.
Harmony seems to remember something in the kind of moment where we're catching our breath from the immediate deadly peril, and reaches into a pocket of her clothes and pulls out the letter from Strahd to the family that they found in the secret compartment in the library, and kind of skims through it again quickly and says, Raka, do you know the name of the prince whose curse we were brought here to break? I don't recall your father telling us.
Yeah, his name's Strahd. People call him the Devil of Barovia.
Harmony shared the contents of the letter with everyone else and read it out loud, so she
It was
like,
pretty yikes. If
yes, Harmony just kind of like, probably like, cocks a great eyebrow at the text of the letter and pockets it and says, seems a pleasant fellow, from his correspondence at least.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna suggest that we continue this conversation on the road or on
So-
the move.
It's worth noting, how long did it look like the house had been in that state?
The destroyed state or the
The-
creepy Silent Hill?
The
turn?
creepy Silent Hill zombie, yeah.
Impossible to tell based on what.
But
what
a
you can
long
see.
time, yes.
Well, but the question that would probably arise to Docrin is, is this house cursed? Was it something magical that turned it that way? I mean, there was clearly some sort of illusion when you came into it, making it look nice. So, it was a decrepit, gross house when the illusion was taken. But to the question of how long it had been that way, you don't really have anything to base that on.
Given that all our rations dissolved into dust when the illusion broke, there's probably some sort of magical curse going on.
That's fair.
But you're
yeah.
the expert.
Winley is with Mina that we should go ahead
Yeah.
and head towards the
Absolutely.
town, and if there are other things to discuss on the road.
Yes.
So
And how far are we? You said it's
About a mile.
visible, but like,
each hex is a
Oh.
quarter mile.
okay,
Yep.
cool.
Okay. So the party would like to move towards the village.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So you are able to.
Briefly considers disposing of the house's deed, but it's like, land is land.
As players, we are experienced landowners.
All right, so kind of coming up straight north to get to the edge of the village, you find yourselves kind of reaching a dirt road, the quality of which is definitely not well kept. This is not a road where somebody comes out every year and tosses some gravel around, that sort of thing. But Mina, just based on your observations as a ranger, this has similar qualities to the road you were on the mountain path before the cliff gave away, and you found yourselves in the lake/river. And so with that, then coming into the edge of the village, I'm going to map transition you to yonder village map.
And Daniel, just Harmony's going to be keeping a close eye as we approach the village, trying to get an idea of like the population. Like, is it all human? Are there any other races included that she can see, or does it seem to be pretty homogenous?
Okay. Tom, stop moving. You will find out.
Right.
All right, everybody should have their vision on the right side of the map here. Coming into the village, to give you an idea here, the scale of the squares themselves, the visible squares, not your token size squares per se. Boy, I wish people would stop moving. From that, it's about 40 foot per square. Now your tokens are more like 20 here on this map. So just be aware. It is daylight. You can see pretty much kind of through the village, or a decent distance into the village. But kind of approaching it, you see the village is definitely, I'm not going to say closed for business, but does not seem to be particularly welcoming. Coming onto the main boulevard, you see that most of the houses are closed. You see a number of boarded up windows. And as well as you notice, many of the houses have sort of scratch marks and claw marks along the siding, at the edges of the doors and the like. Kind of at this initial point of entry into the village, you don't see anybody out on the streets. Although you can see kind of in the distance further to the east there does appear to be some sort of town square, and you think you can see figures kind of through the fog out that way, but it's hard to tell from this distance.
Okay. At this point, Harmony's gonna basically say that discretion's the better part of valor, or something along those lines. She's going to cast Disguise Self on herself to disguise her demonic visage, and is going to attempt to appear basically as nondescript as she can manage human woman. Just kind of like white, Caucasian-ish. Just kind of guessing basically doesn't want to stand out in any way.
Sure.
So I can post that in the chat.
Now, is she hiding her equipment as well? Does she look like essentially a peasant woman, or does she just look like a human version of herself?
I would say more so, given that the rest of the party is clearly armed. She's gonna not hide her weapons. She's just gonna try to human herself up, disguise the more obvious, like the tail, the hooves, the horn. But
Surely
otherwise,
not the first time she's done this.
yes, no, it is an innate ability her specific kind of tiefling has. So she's going to just throw it up.
Okay.
Doesn't want to cause the villagers any more alarm than our presence already will.
Okay. Well, you now have run of the map if you'd like. Just again, kind of move in smaller increments so you can see things as you go. Don't go leaping across the map per se, but whoever would like to lead the party through or lead to somewhere, you certainly can.
So is there any obvious inns that we've seen so far wandering in here? Or
Not. It appears most of these houses are residential of some variety. They all look to be depending on the size, somewhere from what you would guess from the outside, be maybe 2 or 3 bedrooms apiece. But again, you are seeing nobody on the streets here up close. At least here in the distance, in the fog over here to the west, you can see some movement in what looks to be a space that maybe opens up a little bit like a town square, but it's
Harmony
a couple hundred feet away.
will kind of, after disguising herself, will kind of turn to Rock and say, "Did you say you've been here before?
We come through this village on our way to the falls."
Is it usually so welcoming?"
He kind of seems to struggle for a way to describe that, but his demeanor indicates that this is pretty normal.
Harmony will kind of, as we pass a building with the scratch marks on it, kind of indicate them and kind of turn to Rock and say, "Do you know what?"
I haven't been here in a few months at least. I can't say I recall seeing this. I know wolves at night occasionally pass through the town, and the odd chicken will go missing, but I can't say I can explain all of this. And when I say like houses are marked up, every house has signs of this.
Yeah. As soon as he says that, I give him a side eye and I say, wolves don't make marks like that.
I mean, if only we had a ranger to maybe try to identify those scratch marks.
First of all, can I slip through the gap between those buildings, or is it...
Which buildings? Sorry. There? Yeah, I mean, there's an alley there. And just for your context, right, every house has a little block of sight, so you can kind of see the edges of the house, but there's essentially a square in the middle of all of them. But yeah, every house, there are very few houses in this village that are close and that are like brownstones where they're touching each other. They all have some level of gap between them.
Sure. Sunny is kind of trotting along with the party, and Mina's gonna go and kind of flank along in a side street there, but not leaving the party, just kind of trying to go parallel to them. And yeah, I would like to use my natural explorer to examine the tracks. It's kind of specific about tracks, but I can tell, let's see. While I'm tracking other creatures, I can learn their exact number and sizes and how long ago they passed through this area.
Okay. So these streets, once you've arrived inside the town, are more of a broken cobblestone. So tracks are pretty much impossible to glean. Although you do see a lot of evidence of foot traffic. Despite the fact you don't see anybody out here, it's fairly clear that these streets are still well used by the locals. As far as the claws and scratch marks and whatnot, they almost look more like somebody with fingernails were just trying to like dig their way through the doors or through the walls. They're not like deep grooves or sharp grooves.
We don't
I'm
love that.
pretty cool with ghouls and other undead beings, as they are my favorite enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Does this look like something that any kind of undead creature might have done? And I'm happy to make a check of some kind to...
Yep, go ahead and make a survival check, and I'm going to have everybody pause movement because you're all starting to get a little far.
Okay, so I have advantage on survival checks to track undead creatures, as well as on intelligence checks to recall information about them. Would that apply?
Go ahead and roll with advantage.
Okay. I'm just gonna roll. Okay, 24.
You can tell that this is some form of undead. You're not. It's not clear that it's ghouls or something to that nature. These look kind of humanish, if we're being blunt about it. Again, it seems more like fingernails as opposed to claws. That to you might suggest something like skeletons or zombies, perhaps, but it's a little indistinct based on what's there, because just as easily it could be people.
All right. Well, I'm sure they're super nice people if it's people.
Certainly.
Harmony's probably eyeballing, since she's close to Sunny, kind of like looking at the scratch marks and then looking at Sunny's paws and being like, trying to mentally measure with her lack of survival skills.
Ain't like the other.
It does.
Well,
It,
Mina will convey all that
Oh.
in a hushed voice.
Does she just like
Well,
pop
yeah.
out of an alleyway like Batman?
the thought also occurs that if this town has a wolf problem, maybe bringing Sunny through here is not the best.
It's not a wolf problem, Mark.
Well, but they said it was a wolf problem. I don't know.
Yep. I'm going to say anybody who's with Ash, that's about the limit of your movement up there, so if you want to join him up there, you
Yeah,
can.
I will.
But that's going to be sort of the end of your travels.
That's fair.
We're gonna
Say,
die.
I would say Doc is not leading in any sense of the word, but is definitely with the main visible group rather than flanking like Mina.
Okay. Those of you who are entering into this square, when you approach, you do as you get, and you can see this as you get closer. This isn't like you walk in the threshold and suddenly things are revealed to you. But as you approach the square, you can see that there is a bit of a business going on here. On the north end of the square, you see 3 carts kind of laid out, with little wheels, and they seem to be sort of vendor stands. Closest to you, you see a vendor that appears to be selling some sort of wine or alcohol, perhaps, in kind of dark green glass bottles. Halfway up the square, kind of in the northeastern corner of it, you see a woman with kind of a well-colored, bright cart, and you are assailed by the scent of, based on your experiences over the last 6 hours or so, it smells like heavenly good baked goods. There appears to be rolls and pies of assorted varieties, and kind of an older woman is running that cart, and there's a small line of people lined up for it. And on the far end of the square, there seems to be one more vendor, although at this distance you can't quite tell what they are selling. Kind of coming to this point, 2 things stand out to you. The building south of you / north of you, Mina. This building is kind of dark. The walls have a kind of faded paint along with all the scratch marks you've seen. The blinds are drawn and whatnot. But for those of you on Ash's side, you can see a door, and the sign reads Bildrath's Mercantile. And then on the north end of the square, kind of around the corner, you can also see a building that looks like it might be a form of tavern or inn. And there's a sign kind of hanging loose over it, but it's hard to read at this distance.
And the vendor carts, they don't appear to be Vistani, I assume.
No, these appear to be locals. And speaking of the locals, the people in the lines and whatnot all appear to be human, because Harmony's looking for that fact. They are all kind of pale-skinned. Their hair is generally darker and kind of faded. And just sort of looking at them, there seems to be sort of a lack of energy or enthusiasm about the people. They seem to be kind of standing in line. I would almost describe sullenly. Although they're not putting that much energy into being sullen so much as just you're looking at them and like these people seem like the most checked out people you've probably ever seen. But that said, again, there's a decent number of them in line for the pie cart. There's a decent there's 1 or 2 in line for the wine. There's nobody in line for the third spot, but that is what you can see at this point here in the kind of town square.
I probably wouldn't mind some food and drink. Since the line is shorter for the drink, I'm gonna go there first.
Okay. The line there is only one person at this point, but a kind of middle-aged man is standing behind that particular cart. And looking at it, you can see that there's only actually one thing for sale in this cart, and it appears to be bottles of wine. A small handwritten sign it kind of sits on the front of the cart, and it says Red Dragon Crush, 2 silvers.
Is anybody that Harmony can see, and I'll roll if you want me to, is anybody wearing any weapons?
No, not that you can see here.
Okay.
I'm gonna pay 2 silver for a bottle of wine, and then I'm gonna limp over to join the pie.
There I am.
Okay, and you guys can move around if you want.
Yeah.
As far as the everybody should be in the bottom right, and then Mina should be in the bottom left. As far as for you, Ash, the item you're adding is 1 bottle of Red Dragon Crush.
Yep.
Harmony is going to circle around, try to not like getting too close, but just wants to. Her curiosity makes her want to see what the bar stall is selling.
Likewise.
Sure.
And does
Also,
the
really
vendor
quickly, I have no
react
fog of war.
to newcomers in the town at all?
Yeah, it's,
No, fog of war.
it's daylight.
Well, right, but like when you look at a place and turn away, it's then gone again. It doesn't show like what you've seen previously.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
no fog of war.
it's a social area, so I'm not super
For
concerned.
now.
It's not that big of a deal.
Fair enough.
Prefer to know what part of the map we've
There you
explored.
go.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta murder people who want pastries, you know? Just these things happen.
If there's a shortage,
Yeah.
you know.
Yikes. Don't think we're that kind of party, but...
Okay. The
Oh, there's
far.
fog of war.
Yep. For those of you who go to explore the far stall, you see that they're selling sort of an assortment of perhaps lower quality or a little bit older than you might like, kind of leafy greens, lettuce, kale, chard, that sort of stuff. The one person in line ahead of you there kind of makes their purchase and sort of wanders off up the north street, and that cart seems to be drawing very little attention otherwise.
Does
Was
the...
there-
Oh, go ahead.
Was there any reaction from the vendor? You know, oh, a new person in town. Does he try and make small talk at brass for
I mean, for that matter, has anyone made notice of our...
Nobody seems to be paying you too much mind. The wine vendor seemed quite, much like the people in the line, sort of checked out, barely said anything when you said, I'd like to buy some wine. Just kind of held up the two fingers and took your money and gave you the wine and had nothing else to say about it. The vendor with the leafy greens doesn't even seem to really recognize that you're there in any significant way. The line for the baked goods is moving at a decent pace, and I see Winley, Ash, and Sunny are there. Mina, I'm going to have you make a will save for Sunny, as I know Sunny is perhaps not the most well-behaved when it comes to other people's food possessions.
What was it? Oh, we cleaned ourselves up after the death house, right? We're not just walking into town all...
You did not say that you did, so...
It's true.
Blood.
Well,
Yeah.
Harmony's disguised either way, so...
I'm gonna buy this pie and then I'm gonna look for an inn so I can eat and start tending my wounds a little bit better.
Given the lack of rations, Harmony would also like to get in line for a pie.
Okay. These couple of folks get out of the way. As you're approaching, you do notice that the woman running the pie stand, kind of older, we'll call it a grandma effect. She actually seems to take notice of your approach, and as you kind of make your way up in the line, she smiles at you and says, "Oh, newcomers, come! Granny's got all the pies you could want. What would you like? Something sweet, savory, perhaps?"
There are
Well,
absolutely
this might
people
be a
in these
bad time to
pies.
say I got
Just
on
kidding,
that.
Sunny.
Or sorry, a pie.
Okay.
On that wisdom's name.
Sunny is pretty aggressively sniffing around the cart, and the old woman kind of gives a laugh at him. "Oh, away with you, mutt!" And sort of tries to shoo him away from it. Although he is quite enamored with the scent and quality of what's there.
I'm immediately suspicious, seeing as how she's the only person in town that's tried to engage us with any kind of conversation. So, roll insight.
Okay.
Harmony will attempt to disguise any or remove any of the inherent infernal smokiness from her voice, but not trying to put on a local accent or anything. And it'll just say, "Oh, well, what would you recommend? We're new. Not sure if there's some sort of house specialty. It all smells amazing."
Oh, of course it does. I think for someone like you, and she sort of does a little ponder, I think you'd like a sweet roll. And she kind of pulls a board out that's behind the cart, kind of a hidden shelf, and puts it up. And essentially, you've got an array of danishes and cinnamon roll type baked goods there. And as with everything else in the cart, it smells amazing.
Harmony, upon being assailed by these sweet smells, will kind of flash a wry grin at the woman and say, "You're more perceptive than you let on," and will purchase a cinnamon roll.
It is 1 silver piece.
Oh, okay. Make sure I
And
mark
Ash,
that down.
20 on the insight. What are you trying to glean exactly?
She just strikes me as odd, seeing as how everyone else in this town is eager and bleak and not wanting to talk to us at all, whereas she's all happy and chipper and cheerful. So I'm just a little suspicious. I'm just looking for any kind of tells or anything I don't know. I'm just a little suspicious.
She seems genuinely eager to engage with you. You get the sense that maybe she's just the consummate businesswoman or vendor. But you also got a really good result here. So I want you to make a knowledge religion check.
And is there anyone in the line behind us?
No, you sort of followed up the line here, and the other people who were in line have parted, although you can see one person kind of coming up to the line up behind you.
And not to interrupt Ash's check, but Harmony will kind of... Actually, yeah, go ahead.
Ash, you not so much about her, but in contrast, you're sort of wondering if perhaps there's a sort of a level of soulfulness here. A lot of these people seem sort of again checked out and gray, and part of you sort of has a feeling or perhaps a religious feeling that something here might have to do with kind of a level of spirit or energy between the members of the populace.
Interesting. Okay. I would like to purchase one pet, please. And would there be an inn or temple nearby that we could take shelter at?
Granny sort of laughs and points at the building behind her. Well, you can't see it because they don't keep the place up, but that's the Blood on the Vine Tavern. They're known to have a room or two.
Excellent name.
Harmony will take a bite of the cinnamon roll. How's the quality? Does it match the smell?
It is phenomenal. This is a high quality cinnamon roll, possibly the best cinnamon roll you've ever had.
Ooh,
I don't want to get into inter-party conflict, but Sunny is definitely going to try to steal a bite of your cinnamon.
Okay.
I give Sunny some.
Make a grapple check against the...
Ash.
Sunny tax. You have to pay the Sunny tax.
Sunny accepts.
Okay. So Ash, real quick. Did you buy a roll? Sorry, I didn't hear that. Okay.
Silver piece.
Yep, a silver piece. And what a meat pie? Okay. I'm sure Sunny is more than happy to devour that. And
just one silver piece.
Yes. And then Winley and Dockerin, I know you're in line as well.
I'd be more asking. I would actually indicate the greens vendor and like, is he okay? Like,
Granny sort of looks over him and shrugs. Yeah, to be honest, I've never really chatted with him. I'm not from the village. I actually come from up the road by Velaki, but okay. Some are more spirited than others. Bildrath over there's got quite the temper, after all, and well, the folks in the tavern call them a mixed sort.
It seems like the town might have some kind of problem with wolves or some such. I saw the scratching on the walls. Do you know anything about that?
Ooh, I don't know if it's wolves, dearie. I've been hearing quite a bit of tell about folk going missing from whatever that is. Suffice to say, I don't stay in town overnight, or I don't stay outside, certainly. I try to make my way back well before sunset.
And do you find the roads to be safe? We're new to the area.
Safe enough for me to conduct my business, but I wouldn't suggest leaving your children out after dark. And she sort of
concern
for
Harmony protectively puts an arm around Doc.
Harmony kneels down.
Yeah. But Harmony will nod and say, "This probably with a mouthful, like absolutely tremendous."
Oh, I'm glad you like it, dearie. You come back and get more now if you want more. And Mina, just as for your point of reference, some folks have kind of come and gone past your area. This fellow right here kind of walks up from the south side and starts knocking on the door of that house.
I'm actually going to go grab an actual cinnamon roll because now I'm really in the mood for one.
Mina gives a friendly wave.
Oh, hey, call him.
She's not trying to look standoffish or anything, other than the fact that she's standing off.
He seems to be in a little bit of a I'll call it a bad mood. He's kind of banging impatiently on the door.
She doesn't. Mina doesn't interrupt or interject or anything. She just kind of watches and waits, see what happens.
Okay. And then anybody else doing stuff at the stand here, or are we exploring elsewhere?
I've had a good berry in the last 24 hours, so I'm okay, I think.
Okay.
From a hunger standpoint.
I have my wine, I have my roll. I want to find somewhere I can sit down and eat. So I was thinking about checking out the inn.
Okay.
Hello.
Just for reference, this area right here is kind of ignore what the map looks like here, but it's more of a patio or a place to kind of sit outside of that tavern.
I was going to say, are these stairs going up right here?
Yep.
To that patio? Okay.
Yep. And again, sort of ignore the surface that you see on the patio there. All right, Winley.
Winley will not be purchasing any food from this old lady.
Okay. You have had a good berry, so you
I
are
have,
you are
yes.
filled if you would like.
Yes. Winley is just observing quietly,
Okay.
probably muttering to herself.
Okay.
Is it just the outdoor seating here, or is there an inside? Because it's still kind of cold out here. I'd like to get out of the elements.
It is the outdoor. The door into the Blood on the Vine Tavern is back in this corner over here, past the patio.
And you say getting out of the elements, you know it's not like raining or anything anymore, right?
Still cold.
I know, but
It is still like 45 degrees.
Okay, fair enough.
Exhausted.
I gotcha.
I'm suffering from a level of exhaustion already. So
Yeah, same with Harmony, so her priority is also... She's probably sticking with Ash in terms of, like, trying to find a place to maybe go to bed. What time of day is it?
It's early morning.
Oh, okay.
No, it's like 7:30, 8.
Wonderful.
Just for the rest of you, none of you noticed this previously other than Mina, but the gentleman who's kind of knocking on the door there kind of starts shouting, "Garrett, get out here!" And he's banging harder on the door.
Can you just? I'm sorry to. This is kind of a rewind for the sake of getting my bearings. Why were we traveling? Because were we like traveling in the middle of the night then?
No, when you came off the cliff, it was midday, and when you came up from the lake, it was night.
There's been some time and space
Wander.
fuckery going on.
Got it.
Yep.
hope you guys didn't leave the stove on back at home.
Well, I think that was a bigger problem a couple of days ago. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
So how loud is this guy? Would I be able to hear him across the corridor?
I mean,
Oh yeah,
he's
yeah.
yelling. So.
Yeah, I mean you can hear him yell, "Garrett, get out here!" as he's banging on the door.
I will observe from back here then before going, proceeding to the end, because if there's a disturbance, I'm gonna be focused on that.
I'm gonna look for a weapon on it.
Okay.
Or is it one?
He's not armed. He's looks maybe a little bit more burly and stout, but no, he doesn't have any weapons with him.
Okay. Then I just continue to watch.
Okay. Well, as another moment passes, he bangs on the door one more time and is about to shout, and the door suddenly, literally just cracks open, and to all of your sudden amazement and horror, a crowd of what is quite easily describable as zombies of some variety literally just start pouring out the door. The guy, literally in the middle of having knocked, is caught by surprise, and they just begin to tear into him. And with that, we have an initiative roll.
Harmony was enjoying a nice cinnamon roll and looking forward to a potential rest, and then all of this happened. So she is going to... So we've got several zombies, and then are these things burlier looking, or
They just look different. Those gray, the kind of gray ones out front have literally kind of a gray pallid hue. The ones in the back are a little greenish and yellowish.
okay? And presumably the guy that they just got dogpiled by these zombies is pretty much fucked,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Just
big time.
instantly.
The
okay.
horse from The Walking Dead in the first
Yep,
episode.
gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, how
No.
far am I from them? Do I need to... let me do a quick measurement here. Okay, cool. Harmony is going to, probably between a mouthful of cinnamon roll that she was still chewing on, shout at one of the green or one of the two different looking ones, and say something that probably you can't make out very well. I guess I'll get it for accuracy's sake.
Oh.
Got right, you ugly fuckers! and cast vicious mockery.
Okay. What's the DC?
Let me roll it in the chat.
I didn't even hear what it actually was. I just heard something ugly fuck.
14. The ugly fuckers is the important
I mean,
part.
yeah, it's the soul of it, for sure.
Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to have any effect.
It must be the cinnamon roll. Harmony
Yeah.
will swallow next time. And let's see. She is going to... Does not wish to... Are the carts still here?
The carts are here.
Okay. Let me... Yeah, oh, wrong. That's it. Let's take a look. See. Harmony is going to duck behind the salad cart, since it seems zombies don't want salad. But she's just going to kind of sprint over and say, pardon me, and duck behind it as part of her movement to just kind of... She doesn't want to wind up next on the main course.
Okay.
So that's her turn.
Okay. And next up we have Mina.
So Sunny got a 17 as well, so we'll just put him after Harmony, obviously.
Okay.
So Sunny will move.
So just to clarify, how's everyone looking like health-wise right now?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I got 25 left. I'm
Alright.
good.
Fair
How
enough.
do I get
I
the...
have 6. I can either use preserve life to give 15 health out to people.
Turn undead would probably be the better.
Let's have the side conversations in the chat so Mina can take her turn. Sorry.
So Sunny is gonna duck and weave between those folks there, Winley and Doc. And sorry, who's this? Lady in line.
That is just an old lady in line.
And Sunny's gonna go for the throat on one of these front zombies.
Okay.
So he has +4 on this. 15 to hit.
That is a hit.
Alright, so Sun does 9 piercing damage.
Okay.
Again, going for the throat rip. And the zombie needs to make a strength save DC 11.
Oh, well, zombies are great at that.
I know.
It fails.
Right, so Sunny takes it to the ground, and that zombie is now prone.
Okay.
And he, is obviously trying to just dig out the thing's whole face. And then Mina is conveniently right next in the order, so she is going to. Does not love being right next to this guy, but why'd we get the crossbow expert feat? Let's do this. So she's just gonna load up and start throwing bolts into this guy's face.
Okay.
And she has advantage on these because they have not acted yet in initiative.
Correct.
That's fun. So hand crossbow. First one.
That's a hit.
Ooh, cool. 7 damage. 9, because they're undead.
Okay.
And then second bonus action the zombie is still standing, I presume?
Yes.
Okay, so bonus action, she sleekly loads another bolt and then fires another shot right into the thing's face, hopefully.
That is a hit.
Cool, so that is 5 damage. 7 damage. I'll get back into the headspace of that since he's undead.
Okay. She puts 2 really good hits into him. He seems sturdier than zombies she's encountered before. They typically kind of just keel over in one shot from her experience if it's well placed. These 2 kind of go at this range straight into the kind of the side and back of this thing's head, and it staggers forward and then seems to kind of turn about and be like, what just shot me?
Well, noting that, so I'm gonna. If it's okay with you, and I mean it's kind of worse for me, so whatever. I'm gonna put her in that square. Sorry, she was turned.
Yep.
Just kind of.
Yep.
Yeah. So noting that the zombie seems particularly sturdy, she's gonna take the single attack of opportunity from this one to move away. So.
Okay. That is gonna be a hit.
And actually. I can't. Can I move? Can she squeeze through right here without moving adjacent to this one?
Yes. And she's going to take 4 damage as it sort of claws at her when she backs away.
Okay. And sorry, just finishing my move action here, and then that's the end of my turn. So 5, 10, 15. 20, 25, 30. This is right there.
Okay. The people in the square, or the kind of the remaining peasants in the square, start screaming and fleeing, as one might expect them to.
At least they have that much soul.
The one over at the cart, the wine cart makes a run for it. The wine vendor just ducks behind his cart. The charred saleswoman kind of starts taking off down the street here. The gal who's in line behind you for the pies also starts making a run for it. And then with that,
before the zombies go, really quick, Winley at the end or during Mina's turn or whatever will yell for Sunny to get back.
Okay. Because we know Sunny's a great listener.
I'm just saying, I don't want to accidentally kill him. It would behoove him to move away, if possible.
And with that, the zombies begin kind of an aggressive pursuit of those who have threatened them. These 3 come after Mina, and the others here in the main group start to kind of swarm around Sunny. Those who are in the back, kind of sensing that they can't get through, start coming around over this way. And then... All right, and with that, then they are the 4 that are attacking Sunny.
Wolf.
Remind me of Sunny's AC.
Sunny's AC is a number that is 15.
Okay. Sunny's only struck by, looks like, one of them, fortunately. But Sunny will take 2 damage as one claws at her, and then Mina, the 3 that are by you. And Mina, you are struck by 1.
Wow. We got lucky.
And you take 2 damage there as well.
Okay.
And with that, now it is Winley's turn.
Yes, 1 second. I'm looking something up. Okay, we have not rested at all, correct?
You've not rested at all.
Okay, cool. We love this. So that means I sadly cannot become a cool archer. I will. Let's see. I'll cast Moonbeam.
Okay.
Da-da-da. And I'll put it on top of these 3 here. It
Okay.
is it's a 5-foot radius. So I'll put it on top of the uglier looking one. So DC 13 con save, please.
Okay. And sorry, I got too much stuff in the way of my my rolling space here. Looks like that's a failure.
Okay, so it'll take 15 radiant
Great.
damage.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to
I'm sorry, the top one or the low, bottom one there?
this ugly fellow here.
Yep.
Yeah, the top one.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna step back a little bit.
Okay.
I don't really want to be.
When that beam strikes it, the one of its arms just gets melted off or blasted off, and the loose arm kind of starts flopping and clawing around on the ground.
Oh, good.
And so you now have this extra token here to represent that arm.
This is fine.
Okay.
And now it is Docrin.
Okay. I'm gonna. So, sorry, I just need to. Okay, so you backed up. Cool. Well, this is the tank life, I suppose. Yeah, force them to move a little bit at least. And I'm going to use. I'm going to cast Tasha's Caustic Brew straight at them. So that's. They all need a dex save of something. That'll be 15.
Okay. Looks like they're all failing except for the bottom one.
Okay, fair enough. And then so let me pull it. So they are covered in acid for up to a minute. Creature covered in the acid takes 2d4 acid damage at the start of each of its turns until it uses an action to scrape or wash the acid off itself or another creature.
All right. Good stuff. And anything else from Docrin?
No, gotta move to interpose myself between them and Winley, and that'll work.
Okay. Next up then is Ash.
Alright, I am going to run straight down 30 feet. I know why it's doing that. Hold on. Whenever my token isn't faced in a cardinal direction, it gets mad about being in a square.
I get it.
30. So, if I'm here, I should be in range of all zombies within 30 feet. Yep, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn on dead. So, Each one of them needs to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 14, or they must bleed.
Okay, and they're all in range here?
All of them. Yep.
All right.
Nice.
What does Ash yell, or what does turning undead look like for Ash?
Oh, I just book it down to where I'm at now, and like I'm still cradling like the bottle of wine and then the sweet meat roll in one hand, but I fish out my pendant and I raise it high, and it just blinding light flashes out of it briefly, and I just command them all to return to their foul place in the name of Bahamut.
Garrett's house.
Yeah.
In the middle of yours.
Hey, you know, Garrett's house was a happening place.
Apparently.
For the zombies.
Well, there were enough people there to make that many
It's like,
zombies.
it's like one of those
so-
chicken
fair.
pox parties.
Yeah, right.
For-
Zombification.
yes.
All right, give me 1 second here.
A lot of saves to keep track of.
Yep. All right.
When I call upon the might of Bahamut, the blue streak in my hair glows ever so slightly.
Well done. Anything else from Ash?
That's it for me. I have bonus actions I can take, so that was a move and an action.
Okay. Next up then is Harmony.
Great. So, oh wait, they have to do it on their turn, right? Do we know which ones were affected?
Let's see.
So there's a marker on all
Oh,
of
I
them.
see. Okay. And would that be? Oh wow, you got a good chunk of them there. Okay. Great. Not to double up. Okay.
And did you mark the ones that have the acid on them?
I have not, but it's those 4, so not hard to keep track of.
Oh, all 4 of them? Nice.
Okay.
Except for the bottom one.
Harmony, rolling her eyes at Zombie's inability to appreciate her cutting insults, will resort to cruder means and will rise up over the stall and take a shot with her crossbow at, let's see, one of the unaffected, assuming she can kind of tell the ones that have been affected by Turn Undead. I know that you put markers on them, but is that like...
And they're just beginning to, like, some of them are just starting to like do the hands to the eyes shying away thing.
Well, conveniently enough, I suppose, there's an unmarked one fairly close to her, so she's going to take a shot at this guy, the bottom one down here, with her crossbow.
Okay.
Her crossbow, Ash. Hers. Let's see how this goes. So uncivilized.
So uncivilized.
Assume that's a hit.
Yes, it is.
Okay. A hot 7 piercing damage.
Okay. Takes him right in the chest, but he doesn't seem particularly fazed by it.
Well, you know what? That's fine. Harmony's gonna duck back behind the stall, maybe sample a little bit of the chard.
All right. And Mina. So Sunny slash Mina.
Yeah, so Sunny is, he's going to continue ripping the throat out of the one that he knocked prone, or attempting to.
Okay.
Sunny's, he's a one-attack kind of boy, so that's all he's going to do. He's going to throw a +4 bite attack at... Do you get advantage on something that's prone next to you? That sounds...
On melee attacks, yes.
Yes.
Sounds like it would be a thing. Alright, so this is... I'm just rolling 2 die 20s because I'm rolling his attack with advantage. It's +4. Ooh! That's fun. So that's a crit.
Yep.
Crits... Man, I'm all over the place as far as critical hits. How do they work?
Essentially doubles the dice damage.
Okay, so Sunny does 2 die 4 normally, so I'll roll 4 die 4.
Yep.
11 damage.
Okay. This Sunny is just ripping the shit out of this thing. It is still trying. It's now presently trying to like claw its way away across the cobblestones, as it is one of the turned ones. But Sunny is just going to town on this
But yeah,
thing.
he has it grappled, doesn't he? Or is it just tripped?
It's just prone.
Oh, okay.
If it stood up on its turn, I don't know.
It did not.
Then it needs to make another strength save. It did not, you said. Okay. Alright, and then Mina is going to lock and load and put 2 more bolts into the one that she already shot. Can you ping which one she had already hit? Okay, cool. So, no advantage anymore, but one still. For first shot is a 25.
That's it.
So that is 12 damage. And then second.
Okay, this one, it dies. It finally collapses under the barrage of bolts.
Alright, pivots, and the one right next to it.
Okay.
You'd spend your bonus action to shoot that one right in the face.
Okay. I didn't make that.
15?
That's it.
Perfect.
7 damage on that one.
Okay. And anything else from Mina?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Two things happen simultaneously here.
At the start of the zombie's turn, the one with the moonbeam on it needs to make another Constitution saving throw.
And don't the acid ones also have to?
Oh, that's not the right set of numbers. That works. To the south here, kind of at the door to the building that was marked Bildrath's Mercantile, a man kind of bursts out at the sound of the commotion and just shouts like "Ah!" and starts running towards the zombies. He is now in the initiative order as a shouting man.
Is he
Presumably
armed?
He is armed. He is drawing out a great sword as he runs towards them.
like this guy.
And then with that, the zombies are suffering from some acid. So if Dockerin wants to roll some acid damage.
I would say that's just...
Is that this guy down here?
Yep.
Okay.
do you want me to roll it for all of them or
Yep.
individually? Okay. So I'm just going to go top, left, right.
Okay, so the arm melts.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that strength.
Okay, 5.
At least I nicked the meat. Sorry.
Okay, and 4.
Hey, buddy.
Okay. And then almost all of these things are turned. So the two that are by Mena and the Shouting Man start to make a run for it. You can use your reaction for an opportunity attack if you would like.
Can crossbow experts do that with a crossbow?
That's a great question.
I'm going to say no because there's not an implication that you reload after your second shot.
Right.
So I'd say you can make an unarmed melee attack, or kind of bash them with your hand crossbow if you want, or you can keep your reaction.
Yeah, sure. She'll punch one in the face as it runs by. So
We figured out harmony
I
does 0
guess I'll
damage
just
if they're
roll
unarmed
my
attacks.
20 and add my strength plus 1. Am I proficient with punching things in the face?
No, but you're proficient with unarmed attacks in general, but it only does 1d4 plus strength. I'm sorry, no, it's not even that. It's 1 plus strength.
But I get to add my proficiency bonus to the attack.
Correct.
Okay, well it doesn't matter.
So such is life. You sort of swing feebly at this thing. The man with the great sword, and I'm sorry, it's actually a long sword. He's just holding it two-handed. Takes his own swing. I'm going to see if this works correctly. It does. And he kind of slashes this one as it starts to run away. And then they make it to about here. Of the 4 that are all next to Sunny can attack one of them for leaving her space.
Yeah, so he has plus 4 on this, and he goes for the one that he's been attacking the whole time. So
Okay.
20.
That's a hit.
So 40.
Just rips it to pieces as the other 3 zombies start to kind of make a run for it here. And then of the 2 that are covered in acid, the lead one starts to run away towards the towards the charred stall. But the other 2 here are pushing ahead to Dockerin.
That other one still needs to make a Constitution saving throw for me. Because it started its turn in the moonbeam.
16.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep. And then they are coming at you, Dockerin. So they are going to... Goodness, that's a lot of attacks.
I'm concerned that he said there's...
All right. So Dockerin looks like 3 hits on you.
Yep.
Wow.
That's going to
Real
be
decent.
and 14 damage total.
Okay, that's
They both
not
just
great.
charge forward, and the one with the one arm is just clawing at you and biting
So
at
I
you.
respect that we need to save the dog. Save me.
And with that, it is now
Because that was half my health
Mina's
right there.
turn.
Half my remaining health right there.
Sunny is going to nip at the heels of these ones that are okay. And jogs over to fight that one. So +4 on this.
That is a hit.
And, so that is that's 5, and I should have been adding favorite enemy for Sunny as well because he gets that. So that's 7 damage total.
Okay.
And this zombie needs to make a strength DC 11 save to not be pulled down.
And it is going to fail.
All right. Well, Sunny pulls it to the ground.
Okay.
And then Mina will. Just trying to turn. Gonna just kind of move over here to get a clearer view. Actually, sorry, she can see. The field of view is a little. I mean, I like it, but I forgot about the shit that was happening over here. So actually, Mina is not going to chase the fleeing zombies like Sunny is. She's going to move over here and shoot at this one.
Okay.
So, first attack.
I know it's an angling thing, but if you can just finalize which square you're in when you're done with your attack.
Okay.
The joy of the diagonal feature.
Yeah. But yeah, shooting at that lower one there.
Okay. Solid hit.
Let's keep doing this.
It'll auto roll the crit.
Cool. So 12 damage with favored enemy.
Okay.
I think that did the crit. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
And then bonus action attack on the same one is 17.
Also a hit.
Okay, and that is 11 damage.
Okay. So it collapses as you just kind of pump 2 shots into the back of its head.
Sweet. And that's end of turn.
Okay. Winley.
All right, Winley will take a little step up here to get within range of these guys. Yep, okay. And then I will cast Ice Knife. So ranged spell attack. That's cool. It still explodes. So all 5 of these guys need to make a dex saving throw.
They're so good at that. You don't even know how good zombies are
I
at
figured
that.
they were super good at that.
Truly renowned for their dex saves.
I mean, wow.
Wow. Okay, all but one of them made it. So excellent.
Okay, I mean, better to make those.
what was the DC?
We love that.
I mean,
14.
Okay. Yeah. So all but one.
Cool, love it. All right, well, the one that failed takes 11 cold damage.
Okay. So the one you shot originally sort of takes the brunt of that blast. Okay. And anything else from Winley?
No, I'll do it.
Ash, your turn.
Docrim went before me. I'm not sure how we got reversed.
no, you
Actually, Winley is going to take a step back.
Okay. You're both
But that
9s on mine, so it's just a dexterity question, technically.
yes, we're both well known for our dexterity rolls.
Well, mine is 11, but
Mine is my dex is a 13. So
Okay, then you will go first. If you don't check the box for including your
Let's say I
your
did.
tiebreaker, it's because I put it in manually. That's why.
yep.
it
My
was
bad.
weird because he was in there before me before. I'm not sure how it got reversed.
I don't know. So Docrin,
How messed up is this one looking here?
the one right in front of you.
Yeah, the one on my ass.
I mean, you've definitely put some heat on it, but it's still coming at you pretty viciously.
Alrighty, fair enough. So booming blade into a thunder gauntlet then.
Okay.
It's just a normal attack. I take it at 22 hits.
It does.
Neat. That'll be 8 thunder damage then.
Okay.
What's the taunt effect?
The taunt is if they attack someone other than me, they take damage. I think it is.
Disadvantage or damage?
Damage. It's damage.
All right. And anything else from Docrin?
No, I'm good.
Now it's Ash.
Well, okay, not good, but
Fine.
I'm gonna move
Finished.
closer to these guys over here just to keep on making it go away. but I'm going to turn my holy symbol towards the one facing up.
So just so you're aware, you don't have to keep chasing them. They are required to flee for up to a minute.
Yep.
I think you're right, it's
I also
disadvantage,
know
actually.
if I'm within 30 feet of them, do they have to move further? So that's kind of what I'm doing there.
Yep.
I know that
And then the booming blade is if they move willingly. They
I
do
know that they're
damage.
scared of me. They're not going to come attack me, so I'm going to move towards them.
Blocking
Okay.
someone
And
down.
away from the one that's not afraid. But then I'm going to kind of turn my focus on the one that Dockrum's on.
Okay.
And it is within 60 feet, so I'm going to use Sacred Flame. So I raise up my holy symbol, like glow briefly, and then blue fire strikes down towards it from the heavens.
Okay. And
Oh yeah, it's a dexterity 14, I forgot.
Yep. It fails.
Aha! 2 damage.
It falls apart under the radiant glow of Bahamut.
Neat.
All right.
And that is it for me.
Okay. And we're back to Harmony.
Is there... Oh, right. One of them came running in Harmony's direction. Okay. Does it seem intent? Is it just running away from... Does it know she's here?
Let's see. Oh, you haven't taken a hide action, so yes, it is where you were there.
Okay, cool. Harmony is going to use her object interaction to... She's going to kind of like just drop the crossbow since she was kind of crouching down. She's going to use an object interaction to pull out her rapier. And she is going to stride over to the zombie. And with her flute in her other hand, which it usually is during a fight, is going to kind of twirl it and kind of look at the zombie and whisper, "Not this way," and cast Dissonant Whispers.
It's creepy as fuck, Colin. I love it.
I love it.
Hopefully that rolls
Zombies trying
to
run away from
the...
holy symbol, and then you're just like, not this way, bitch.
Yeah. Hopefully this rolls to the virtual tabletop. Did it? Yes, it did. Okay. So it needs to make a DC 14 Wisdom save.
Well, we all know.
I was
zombies
going to say,
are
we've
good at
run this joke
Damn
into
it!
the ground at this point. But
Yeah, it is not interested in your whispers.
Okay.
Man, these
It takes half of that then. So
Okay.
6 psychic damage.
Okay.
Round up, right?
No.
No, round down.
Harmony now finds herself in melee range with a zombie, which is not exactly where she wanted to
to be
be.
fair, it's running, so...
Yes, we'll see how that goes.
It's actually not anymore.
Oh, well, ain't that awkward.
Well, I was like, if Turn Undead works until either the minute's up or it takes damage.
Right.
My plan was for it to then have to run with Dissonant Whispers and get an opportunity attack.
Anything else, Harmony?
No.
Okay. The shouting man continues his pursuit of yonder zombies, and is going to take a swing, and successfully gives this one a hack. So go ahead, Sonny.
Alright, well, Sunny's gonna be quick here. He's just gonna continue gnawing on the one that he pulled to the ground. So +4 on this. Fuck yeah, keep it going.
Wait, it has advantage, so roll again. See if he gets a crit.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Nope.
Crit, but he does 7 damage with Saber Down. And then, I don't know if... Mina has an 18 on dex, so I don't know if she goes first for the shouting.
You would go first.
Okay. Well... yeah, let's keep killing zombies. She's gonna shoot at this one, kind of the middle one there. First shot is a 24, so that'll be 12 damage, and then bonus action, quick reload, shoot again, 21, and another 12 damage, and Mina is looking warily at the number of bolts in her ammo pad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that one collapses under your fire.
Cool.
All right. And anything else from Mina?
That's it.
Okay. Shouting man, we already went. Yeah, I figured out why I was doing it, but all right. So then the zombies, some of which are now no longer turned, kind of double back. The one over here by you, Harmony.
Acidy McGee
Yep.
just took 8 damage.
8 damage. All right, he's looking pretty melty, but flesh is still holding together at the moment.
Tried.
But it is going to go ahead and take a swipe at you, Harmony. That is going to be a miss. And then this one will take a swipe at the shouting man and will fail, and then one will take a swipe at Sunny and also fail. These two will continue their retreat, and now we are at Winley.
Cool. I will. Let's see. I will maybe do something.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll do something. I'll use my action to move the moonbeam. And I will move it on top of. Come on, Zombos, where are you going? I will move it on top of this guy down here.
Okay. The one by Sunny?
No, this one in the corner. That's fleeing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so that is a Constitution saving throw, JC 14.
Fails.
Okay, so then it's going to take 2d10 radiant damage. Wow, bummer.
Boom.
It happens. It happens to the best of
It
us.
does happen, and then I'll move forward. And
Okay.
that's it for me.
Okay. Docrin.
Okay, so you said this one's looking pretty messed up here.
Yep.
Alrighty, well let's see if we can. Why is it doing that in weird increments? That's real weird. Okay. Do that.
Probably because you're not fully in a square. Because of the diagonal.
I guess.
Yeah, if you're facing a diagonal direction,
Oh, okay.
it moves you out of the square.
There you
It's,
go.
it's stupid.
Neat. Okay, well, either way. I guess that'll be a thorn whip on him.
Get over here.
I was waiting
Indeed.
for it. That is a hit.
Yep. So,
Well, you whip him and kind of the chain wraps around him, and as you're pulling him, it just pulls straight through this thing, and
I
it
would say
Falls to
grabs
pieces.
around the neck and just pulls and just takes the head off.
pretty much.
Harmony nods to Doctor appreciatively.
Yep.
I had him, though.
Yep, sure.
Anything else from Docrin?
Nope, that was my move and my action, so.
Okay, Ash.
So we're down to just
I'm
the
going to
corner squad here,
move
yeah.
back towards the center of the square here. And actually be in a square. Good. Let me double check where I ended up there because I wanted to make sure I was 60 feet. Yeah, okay. And then from back here, I'm going to Sacred Flame the guy that what's his butt is fighting here.
Okay.
Mr. Sword Dude. So,
The
Sacred
screaming
Flame, DC 14, do with it.
Unfortunately, it succeeds.
Okay, well, that's it for me.
Okay, Harmony.
Harmony is going to, admiring the cut of this longsword fellow's jib, is interested in. Let's see. Yeah, she's planning on resting after this anyways, so we'll just call this the. We'll expend the resources. She is going to
Tell the DM our plans.
fix her gaze on this one that he's in close quarters with, and kind of spin, kind of direct her flute towards him and whisper that it somehow carries on the wind of the zombie. Keep running, and we'll cast Dissonant Whispers again.
Okay, and this is the one with Sunny or the one with the
one
guy
with the guy,
Okay.
and that should hopefully show up here fairly quickly. I sent it from D&D Beyond because it's thinking about it. Aha! There we go.
It fails.
Okay, so now it needs to immediately use. It takes 7 psychic damage.
Okay.
If that doesn't kill it, it needs to use its speed to run away from me, and that will provoke an attack of opportunity.
On your turn or its turn?
Its turn, I think.
Sorry, so I'm pretty
Let me double check, but I'm almost certain it's its turn.
It's always turned on
The target must. Oh no! It says it must immediately use its reaction, if available,
Okay.
to move as far as its speed allows away from you.
Okay, and Sword Guy will use his reaction to slash at its back, and we'll cut it in half as it turns around.
Great.
Sweet.
Okay, and that brings it to Sunny.
Alright, going after this same one here. Finally, not a great showing from Sunny.
Is it
So,
prone? Because if so, he has advantage.
Oh yeah, good point. Thank you for that.
Take 2.
reminder. 20 is a little bit better. So that's going to be
That is it.
12 damage.
Sunny just rips this one's throat out and kind of cracks its spine in the process of biting its neck, and it falls limp.
Cool. Mina steps in front of Sunny and lines up a shot at one of the ones. Let's see, are either of the ones running away injured at all?
They're both quite injured.
Which one's more injured?
The one closer to you.
Well, she shoots at that one.
Can I have used my move action too?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
The 9 a hit?
Unfortunately, no. Actually, yes, it does. Sorry.
Well, that is a nat 1, so I guess that...
There are technically no critical fails on attacks.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Say ones do not indicate automatic failure, and 20s do not indicate automatic success.
Cool. I'm great with that. So 10 damage for that guy.
Mina cannot miss.
Okay. She just puts a dump shot into the back of that one's skull.
Mina could close her eyes.
The one next to it's going to get the bonus action, so that's a hit and 11 damage.
Dump shots that one as well.
I picture that one you rolled the 1 on, I picture you actually missing completely, but the crossbow bolt hit the sign on a building and it
Ricocheted or some.
Yeah, Mina definitely wasn't even watching it hit because she was like, "Ah, fuck," turning away.
Okay. Well, with that, we are now out of initiative, and the man turns to Mina and all of you and says, "Well, thank you for your help, strangers." And he looks like this.
Was he not shouting that?
He was not shouting
he's not
that.
just a consistently shouting man?
No, he is not consistently the shouting man.
I will move up to him and I will introduce myself as what his name is.
My name is Ismark Goljanovic. And he pulls out a hand.
I shake his hand. If I'm very not mistaken, you ran from the shop over there? Is that your shop, or were you just shopping in there?
No, that's Bildrath's place. My father was responsible for taking care of the town, and that duty has fallen to me.
He doesn't introduce himself as the lesser, does he?
He does not.
Okay. I was going to say that's some self-loathing.
I suspect that is not a self-provided title.
So you said you take care of this town? Are you like the mayor, or...?
My father was the burgomaster, but he just passed a few days ago, and that task has fallen to me, it seems. Although, with folks like you around, perhaps that'll be easier to deal with.
Do you have an undead problem very often here?
He just sort of chuckles. It's Barovia, we always have an undead problem, but no, in the village, this is a fairly recent phenomenon.
Can you explain that a bit more when you say, this is Barovia, we always have an undead problem?
The devil Strahd is amongst the undead. The undead walk through the night in the woods, in the forests, along the roads. It seems you can't swing a sword without hitting one.
Sorry. Gesturing towards the claw marks on the buildings. Did they do that?
That has been the local problem. A few weeks ago, they started to show up in the night, and now it seems like people in their own homes are turning. As you, I'm guessing, saw, and he kind of gestures at the open door where apparently Garrett used to live.
Where's Rotka been this whole time?
Rock has been hiding behind the wine cart.
Okay. Upon Ismark,
He may have a bottle.
Upon Ismark mentioning the Prince Strahd is among the undead, Harmony will shoot a glare over at where Rock is cowering. You failed to mention that part.
He does not see you. He is literally hiding behind the cart, clutching a bottle of wine.
May I suggest we take this conversation into somewhere more warm?
Ismark nods and gestures across the square. The tavern would do, I'm sure.
The tavern it is.
So everybody is following Ismark into the Blood on the Vine Tavern?
Yeah, just a minute behind, obviously, because I'm definitely going to go gather what bolts remain.
Can I? I only shot once, so I have no chance of recovering one, right?
Correct.
Okay. And does this guy... Now, this might be more of a metagaming question, but did he have advantage on all those attack rolls?
No, it's just how the thing
Oh,
operates.
okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, it rolls advantage by default, or
I see.
disadvantage by default.
Sure, that makes sense.
So for me, it's just the leftmost, and you'll see that with monster rolls as well, where it does those. So that said, entering into the Blood on the Vine Tavern, you see a single shaft of light thrusts illumination into the space through a window kind of above the door by the sign. The tavern itself it appears to be about maybe 60 feet square or so. And coming inside, you find that there's a decent fire in the hearth across the room, with a few people kind of huddled inside. A man sits behind the bar. There appear to be 3 Vistani sitting at a table in the corner. And that said, the rest of the place seems to be desolate or absent of any customers.
Harmony will immediately try to clock if any of the Vistani were... She recognizes that they were amongst the group we were traveling with.
No, they do not appear. They don't appear familiar.
Okay. Harmony will also, on our way into the inn, unless if he doesn't come along already, will stop to retrieve Raka.
Raka happily follows.
Okay.
Are those the only patrons in here?
Yep, just the
3 Vistani.
3 Vistani sitting in the corner and the barkeep.
And she'll kind of, as she helps Raka to his feet, will be like, "You failed to mention the curse afflicting Strahd was of the undeath variety."
I didn't know what was going on with him. My father was the one who was sent to gather you.
Also, I think we asked at the time, and they just said they didn't know that they were just like...
Danimir, yes, did say.
Yeah, no, I think we asked, and he was just like, well, we have to talk to the old lady. The old lady knows more. Let's go talk to
He
her.
gave something vague, like, who can say the nature of...
Yes.
Ismark will gesture to one of the tables kind of in the center of the room, and then we'll head over to the bar, somewhat indicating that he's going to get drinks.
Harmony will nod appreciatively, and will... Is Raka going to join us or the group of Vistani?
Raka makes his way over towards the group of Vistani.
Okay.
Like, does he recognize them, or...
It doesn't say anything about it. He just goes over to enough.
Okay. Well, so long as somebody's checking in with them, Harmony will pull up a chair and kind of slump into it. You know, the adrenaline bursts probably have helped alleviate, but she has been suffering a level of exhaustion since we left the lake, and is probably feeling it pretty hard now.
Seeing that the rest of the party is kind of doing other things, Winley will go talk to the barkeeper and see if there are rooms.
Ismark is ordering drinks and seems to have gathered together what look not like glasses, but kind of flagons of what smells like a hot wine, based on what you're picking up walking up to the bar. The barkeep kind of looks at you blankly and when you walk up, and just nods. 3 gold a night per head.
Cool.
Must be
beyond that, just goes back to cleaning a glass.
3 gold.
Well, when you consider what's going on outside of the inn.
That's true.
So what do we want? I mean, a couple rooms?
Well, they're not charging per room, they're charging
Well,
per
right,
head,
but
but yes.
Yeah. I don't think we all need our own room.
Doctrine does not take up a lot of space.
Well,
so.
that's fair. Okay, so there's what?
There's 5 of us.
5 of
plus
us.
Raka, but I don't think we're paying for him. Are we?
He can pay his own way.
Okay, so I'll...
Presumably his money and everything else he owns was in the cart that is now at the bottom of that lake, so...
I'll hand
He can
over
pay
the
his own
15
way.
gold and ask him where rooms are.
He points at a door on the far end by the hearth.
Cool.
How many to a room, does he say? Or is it kind of up to our own
He doesn't
discretion?
say.
Okay. But it's per head anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I mean... No, yeah, whatever.
And then I'll come back and say that, we've got rooms we've paid for.
I also
Pay for rooms
slump
we're
into
good to sleep.
Chair, and if I'm Crawford, one of those flagons of hot wine, put over the one that I bought.
Okay.
And I'll start eating my meat pie.
Okay.
Drinking.
Okay. Ismark does come back to the table with a bunch of flagons of wine. It's not so much like a mulled wine. There's no spice to it. It just seems to be like normal red wine that's been heated up. That said, it has a decent sweet flavor, sort of a red blend from any of you who have a better understanding of that sort of thing. And kind of, once everybody's settled down at the table, he looks at all of you and says, "So, where are you all from?"
Kind of look around at each other.
Go for it.
Well, I mean, suppose the most accurate summation would be Daggerford.
He sort of purses his lips a little bit. Can't say I've heard of it, but well, welcome from Daggerford to Barovia.
We hadn't heard of Barovia before traveling with the Vistani. So.
So they brought you, and he kind of glances over at the group in the corner and nods at them. Yeah, they've brought more than you here before.
Harmony nods and says, it didn't seem that we had traveled particularly far from Daggerford to get here, but I have a feeling that things on the road were not quite as they seemed.
He nods. I've lived here my whole life, and I can't say I know anybody who's made it more than a few miles out of town, regardless of the town. We have Barovia here. There's a town to the north called Vallaki. I haven't been there since I was a boy, but I don't know of anyone local who's ever left Barovia other than those Vistani.
Is that, do you think, because people are unable to leave, or...?
He nods. No one leaves unless Strahd says so.
Well, that's fun, because I specifically asked if we were free to leave, and our Vistani guest said that we could leave whenever we want.
Yeah. He shrugs. I know people who've tried to leave. I've just never seen them again.
Yeah, that sounds about
We
right.
love that.
Yep, sounds good. Sounds good.
So, the devil Strahd, as you refer to him, the pretenses under which we were asked to come here involved assisting in breaking a curse that afflicted him.
He sort of rolls his eyes and snorts. As best as I know, again, I've lived here my whole life, but he's been cursed since before I was born and well before that. So whoever asked you here to do that might have just brought you on a fool's errand. I mean, I wish you all the best of luck, but no one's done it in my lifetime.
When our travels, our intended destination was to meet a Madame Eva, a leader of the Vistani, but we were waylaid by unfortunate circumstances on the road. Do you happen to know where we might be able to find her?
He nods. There's a waterfall a couple miles west of here. The Vistani make camp there as well as in other places about the country, but last I knew of, she was there.
Harmony nods, and do you happen to have a map of the area we could make use of? We are...
Yes. I was
Make
going to
a
ask,
copy
how
of
big is this country? How big is this territory?
He shakes his head. Everyone who lives here knows the land well enough to get about without a map, so I'm afraid I'm short of cartography tools for you. But I can give you a general lay of the land.
That would be fantastic.
We're in the Barovian Valley. This is, call it the southeast corner of Barovia. You can't see it through the fog right now, but if you looked north on a clearer day, you'd see some mountains rising up and Strahd's castle up there. If you head west and follow the Sphalic Road, you'll find yourself passing the falls and making your way uphill a good couple hundred feet, maybe 1,000 or so. But from there, you're in a higher valley, a little bit less mist, but a little bit more hills. And if you kept following the road, you'd pass the old mill, and then beyond that, you'd find yourself at some point reaching Vallaki, which is a town perhaps 4 times bigger than this. Past Vallaki, if you kept heading west, eventually you'd reach Kresk and the abbey there. There's a winery about there near Vallaki, and there's some ruins to the south, but that's about the lay of the land. I'd say end to end, this whole place, at least as well as I know, it's maybe only 20-30 miles at most.
What are considered the boundaries?
I mean, to the north and to the south, you've got the mountains. I don't know anybody who's successfully been able to scale or climb the things, but perhaps there's a way out, but they border the mountains. To the east, you have the gates, or at least I'm told the gates are out that way, but I've never ventured that way myself. Past Kresk, the road only seems to go a little bit further, but I don't know anybody who's come back from that way.
Okay, so there's not like a set boundary. There's just a point at which people seem to no longer return to.
That I know of.
Fair enough.
This land is called Barovia,
Indeed.
and this village is called Barovia.
This is the village of Barovia. It was the first town settled or raised in the region.
Yeah.
Harmony, well, you called him the devil Strahd.
Yeah.
Does he take an active hand? Is he a frequent visitor to this village?
Well, that's sort of an interesting question. As you saw, we seem to have a bit of a problem with the dead coming back for us, although I'll say some of the dead weren't dead last time I saw them. suffice it to say, some blame Strahd for that. Some think that perhaps there's an illness going about the village. At the same time, for about the last year or so, at least one person I know has just gone straight out missing. Most of the people who've been turned into those undead monstrosities, we've been able to say, well, that was John, that was Susan, but here, in this case, there are a couple of just keep going missing. Again, a lot of people are pointing to Strahd and saying he's taking them, but I can only claim to have seen him from a distance. He has a great flaming horse he rides across the sky from time to time.
So, you mentioned a disease. Your fellow townsfolk have been turning into these creatures?
Just over the last couple of weeks, we've had the occasional pack of wolves come through, werewolves from time to time. We've certainly had some undead wander in from the woods from time to time, but it was usually one or two, not a dozen like you just saw. A couple of weeks ago, we started to see more and more coming about, and they're not just wandering into town, they're coming out of the houses. People here are turning.
So and here Harmony kind of like passes her eyes over Mina, over Docrin. Should those of us who were wounded in that battle, is there something we can do to...
I would say Doc immediately starts trying to diagnose, like, were they wounded in any way? Did they, like, is there anything that they had in common besides just all living here?
Are our companions that were wounded in that battle in danger of turning?
He shakes his head. I've been bitten 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks, and nothing's happened to me. I don't think they're infecting other people. I think something else is doing it to them.
And you mentioned, and I'm sorry to bring this up, that your father only recently passed?
6 days ago. We still have to bury him, but with everything going on, we haven't been able to find the time, and Father Donovic up at the church has been telling us that he's not ready for a ceremony.
Was he similarly zombified, or was it...
No, the best as I know, his heart gave out. He's been running around the town for the last couple of weeks trying to take care of things, but he was up there in his years, and, well, as I say, his heart gave away.
The local priest is Father Donovan?
Donovic.
Donovic. And what faith does he follow? What god?
The only church here in town is a church to the Morning Lord.
Morning.
Is that Pelor, or is that not... I mean, Harmony probably doesn't know.
It is the Morning Lord.
Right, okay. Is there a particular pattern to these attacks? Is it something where... my companions and I have been... We are weary and looking for rest. Is the nighttime particularly dangerous around this town? I know that attack was just in the wee hours of morning.
Broad daylight, yeah.
Do they attack at any particular time or pattern that you've noticed?
They certainly seem to come out more in the late hours in the dark. I can't. That's one of the few times I've seen them out in daylight. But most people stay inside at night regardless. So it's... I don't want to say it's not a threat. Some homes have certainly been broken into by them, but for the most part, most people seem to be trying to keep to themselves, keep their distance from the beasts that are in the night. A couple of times they've wandered out, not in such big groups as before, but even in the past, most of the time the undead wandered into town was in the dark. That said, the ones who are disappearing, the ones who aren't clearly turning, those are perhaps a little more strange. They too seem to be disappearing at night, but unlike with the undead, we're not seeing signs of break-ins or breakouts. They're just disappearing.
And if we, at some point, intended to make our way to this waterfall where Madame Eva is camped, are the roads more dangerous to travel in the recent weeks in which this affliction has been occurring?
I couldn't say. You're the first travelers who've come into town of the last couple of weeks that I know of.
How long would it take to get there?
To the falls? Perhaps a day, maybe less.
The woman at the baked goods cart, Granny, I believe she introduced herself as.
Yes.
She said she's from out of town.
Yes, I think she comes from Vallaki. She's here maybe every other week or so.
Oh, it's a matter of... okay, I must have misinterpreted what she said. As far as
Could we maybe take a look at Garrett's house to try to suss out what happened? Like just...
He shrugs. You're welcome to, but I'll tell you, it's probably going to be destroyed inside, much like most of the others. The last person to disappear entirely was Gregor. He lived just up the road.
Okay.
And Harmony will kind of like look over at Dot and say, planning on looking into to this? Do we not need to proceed directly to Madame Eva as soon as possible?
I mean, I definitely want to do that, but I figure, especially since the thing at Garrett's just happened, that we should at least take a look while it's fresh. We don't necessarily need to pursue any leads we find there immediately, but getting while the getting is good, so to speak, would probably be in our best interest, I would think.
Harmony,
I would like to take a rest before we continue anything.
Yeah, Harmony nods. There's wisdom in that, but I think I'm about at the edge of my capabilities at the moment.
Okay, fine.
But this is not to dissuade you, of course.
Mina puts out the cigar that she rolled before the fight started, and says, "I'll go with you, Doc."
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine on hit points for the moment as well. I do want to take a long rest, but I'll come as well.
Well, Ismark sort of doesn't seem aware that you were buying rooms, but kind of assuming you were talking about taking a break or a rest out loud. So you'd be welcome to stay at the manor. It was built to entertain, although I can't say we've had many guests in the past few years.
Quick, get a refund.
Yeah, right. Can I get my 15 gold back, please?
Where is this manor?
We live at the southern end of town, just down the road here, south of the square.
Let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Free room would be better than paid room.
Did you take that back?
Do you go ask?
Yeah, I'll go up to the barkeeper and be like, I'm sorry, but we, have realized that we have different accommodations.
He just kind of stares at you blankly. You can make a persuasion check.
Oh, Harmony will try. If you'd like, Harmony's pretty good at persuasion.
Come help me persuade her.
Okay.
I'll give it a roll.
Okay, if you want to give me the help action, because I have disadvantage from the exhaustion, so you could get rid of that, and
we'll do that.
Listen, friend. Okay, so I don't have disadvantage on this. I just have regular persuasion. Let's see how this goes. Okay, that's not accurate. I have my minimum is 16.
Yep. He sort of stares at you blankly for a moment and then kind of rummages beneath the counter where you're assuming he keeps kind of the money bag or money box and puts the gold pieces back on the counter.
Okay, I'll leave him 3 gold pieces for his trouble.
Okay.
And we will, of course, tell any travelers we come across of the
Come stay here.
of the wondrous and grandiose generosity of Blood and Vine.
Indeed. Okay. So are you... is there any other conversation to be had? Are you trying to go with Ismark back to his place? Are you going to investigate the house?
I think Mina, Winley, and Doc were going to check out the house.
Okay.
Probably kind of like on the way.
Okay.
And then head to the manor.
I have disadvantage on ability checks. I'm not going to be much use to you anyways, so Harmony would prefer to go with Ismark back to the manor, but she'll kind of tag along quite exhaustedly if he wants to go with the rest of the investigator group.
Okay. Ismark doesn't seem to have any objection to waiting for the group inside Garrett's house. Heading out there, you see the square has not repopulated in the destruction of the zombies. Their corpses are still laying in the street.
How did Granny react to the fight?
You did not really notice in the middle of that.
She'd
went and hid behind
start
a cart
throwing.
You do see that the vendors have started to kind of pack up their wares in their carts, though.
Just like today's a wash.
I do want to mention, I forgot to say it after the fight, Harmony's going to pick up her crossbow from where she left it at the cart. She's not just the charred cart, not just going to leave that as a little bonus for the charred vendor.
Sure.
So I guess we're all going into the house then?
Well, no, Ismark said we were going to wait, seemed happy to wait for the investigator group.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll just step right inside and take a look. We'll let you know, Ash, if there's, we'll shout if we need anything.
So stepping into the house of Garrett, it appears to be a 2-story home with kind of a main common room on the first floor, a door which, when investigated, seems to lead back into a small privy, and a set of stairs leading up to the upper levels. It is clear, both from the scent and the state of the place, that Whatever happened here happened fairly recently. The place is not dusty or decrepit or anything. However, you do see that a lot of the chairs have been kind of knocked over. Some of the cabinets have been pulled open and kind of left open. You do find the remains of what looks like a cat that may have been eaten, or at least chewed on quite a bit. And then, if anybody wants to make an investigation check,
Yes, of course.
Anyone want to assist me? Or?
I'll give the help action because that wouldn't count as since I have disadvantage. Can I still give the help action without? Okay, yeah, I'll give a help action to whoever has the highest investigation roll.
+5 on it.
So he should have advantage. Harmon's kind of be like blearily like, did you look over and?
Do you have a guidance by any chance?
I don't. No, but
Well, I
Winley
think I
does.
I sure do. Have some guidance.
That's a D4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yar.
26.
Okay. So, I mean, you're able to kind of almost casually turn this place over. From a mechanical puzzle sense to Doctrine, it's just not that complicated of a puzzle. Coming through the place, you find a small pouch of coins hidden under a mattress upstairs. And you find 12 gold pieces in that. As well as you find a number of holy symbols around the place, which you can make a knowledge religion check, or anybody can if they would like to try to identify it. This
I'll
home
hold on to him and let Ash take a look.
I'll give Ash a help action to get rid of the disadvantage, unless you need somebody with proficiency in the
not
skill.
with you.
Okay.
No, he's not inside.
Which is why I said I'd hold on, probably take them, or if they're not takeable.
I'll take a
switch them.
look
Sure.
and see if. I mean, I don't have a very good. Yeah, I don't know anything.
No.
I would say.
I would say, like, are they like just handheld type things, or is it like
They all appear to be like kind of pendants.
Okay. Are they all the same pendant?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just take one as
They all look essentially like a landscape with the sun peeking over the horizon.
morning. Gotcha. Sure, that makes sense. Is there any way to tell, like, if they all zombified at once, or if one got zombified and spread it from there? Like, I recognize I'm asking for a lot here, but it was a good roll.
Well,
so.
it was a good roll. So you can tell a couple of things. First of all, even though there were only 2 bedrooms upstairs, you see evidence with kind of strewn straw mattresses that there were about a dozen people living here. It seems that maybe they kind of gathered together on some level. Looking through their trash, you find kind of evidence of meager meals having been partaken in. You also find a number of empty wine bottles in there, all the same Red Dragon Crush you saw. Although you don't see any evidence of wine having been drank recently, there's no glasses or cups on the tables or anything like that. Other than a water bucket and the trash pile, there doesn't really seem to be much other food in here. But you don't see any evidence that somebody was eaten or attacked. It seems that everybody had turned in fairly quick succession.
Okay. No, he said that the wine had been drunk a while ago, presumably, or at least before the zombification happened.
Yep.
Okay. And then there was another house we wanted to check out, right? The one with the most recent disappearance?
I mean, that one's more cold, so that one I'm less urgent.
Oh, okay. Sure,
this one I wanted to get to as quickly as possible, just because, it's here, so... Alright, so nothing else noteworthy then?
Not in particular in here. Again, other than the eaten cat, there doesn't seem to be any evidence that this was happening over time. This seems to have happened not necessarily all at once, but close enough that everybody turned in succession.
And, I mean, the smell is such that they lingered in here for a while and then roused when the dude banged on the door, presumably? Yep. Okay.
So is the gold pouch you found your finder's fee?
Yeah, I'm going with that, probably.
Mina?
Are there any strange tracks or anything?
Mina can very clearly see kind of the scrapes and scuffs of feet in here. It's hard to tell if that was undead or the people, but presumably those are pretty much the same sort of tracks.
They run dead eventually.
So.
Cool.
And Ash, you wanted to go into Bildrath's Mercantile, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Bildrath Mercantile is perhaps a bit of a gloomy store. There are a number of tables with equipment and shelves and the like. Bildrath himself is a middle-aged man with kind of dark hair and a beard. And he kind of eyes you, I'd say maybe suspiciously as you come in. Looking around the shop, you see quite quickly that there's a decent variety of equipment. Trail rations, backpacks, rope, that sort of thing. But the prices are phenomenal. And not in a good way. They are easily marked up anywhere from 10 to 20 times the normal price you're used to seeing them for.
Fantastic. I'm looking specifically for a little bit more trail rations since all of ours went, as well as warm weather gear, like a warm weather cloak or cold weather gear rather, cold weather cloak or like boots or coat or something.
Sure. So you do find both trail rations and cold weather gear. The cold weather gear is marked up at 100 gold pieces.
Jesus Christ.
Oh. And then looking at the trail rations, these are kind of the same that you're used to seeing. These are all marked at five gold pieces per pack.
Okay. Gonna forget the rations. I know that Jake could do good berries, so.
If you're hungry, I can help.
Yeah, so instead I'm gonna see if I can barter for this cold weather cloak.
Bildrath kind of looks at you when you come up, and how do you approach that?
It says, this looks like a fairly decent cloak to keep me warm. How much?
100 gold pieces. I mean, he's indicating the full set. So it's both a cloak as well as like a jacket, thicker pants, boots. It's not just a cloak in that bundle.
Oh, okay, the whole thing. Well, 100 gold is pretty steep. How about 30?
If you want it badly enough, you'll pay for it or you'll get out.
40.
Periwimple! And he kind of looks back over his shoulder towards the door into the back room. A young man, probably in his late teens or very early 20s, come out. And this guy is just big. This guy is just sewn muscle, a full, call it, lurch type. And he sort of looks at you. You sure you want to keep pushing on that, friend?
Was just trying to barter, Any you would part with just a cloak.
No, it's all or nothing.
Alright then. I will take my leave, I guess.
Have a nice day.
Leave the shop.
Okay. Everybody else is done at the other house, unless anybody had anything else they wanted to do there.
Nope.
Okay. Ismark will kind of point down the avenue to the south, which is the direction you came from, Mina, but he's pointing at a house kind of at the end of the lane. And it looks like more of a manor or a manse than kind of the more individual, small family homes that seem to populate most of the town. Well, that's our manor if you'd like to stop in and rest.
How long would you say the investigation... How long would you say it's been since we got into the town?
You've been in town for, at this point, probably close to an hour.
Okay. Harmony is going to try to kind of hurry along to get to the manor, if possible, because her disguised self does run out in 1 hour. So
Sure.
she would.
Are you not able to just re-up it? Or?
It's a racial ability, and I'm out of. I mean, so it doesn't take a spell slot. It's a once per long.
Oh,
rest
it's a
thing.
okay. Gotcha.
So Harmony will kind of she's probably been keeping a mental track, and will kind of try to if it seems like we're not going to get to a private place before the hour's up, kind of try to distance, kind of hide in the back of the group, and
You're definitely kind of pushing it,
Right.
but you're able to kind of stop into an alley and refresh if you need to.
I'm not able to refresh it. I'm out of spell slots, anyways.
No, so just throwing the hood up.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have anywhere else they want to go before they head to the manse?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Ismark leads you down that southern avenue, and I'll take us back to the village map here for a moment, so we can kind of get that lay of the land.
As we're kind of walking, I'm going to ask Bismarck just about the shopkeeper. Be like, is he always that brusque?
Bildrath's got the monopoly in town, so if he's got something you want, you really don't have any other choice. And so for you, all of you, this road here is what leads south, and the manse is down here.
And presumably this road's kind of similar to the one we followed into town, boarded up, pretty quiet, scratch marks.
A lot of that. As you're kind of heading down the road here, you all hear, kind of as you pass 2 or 3 houses down, back kind of by this house, and coming out of this house here, you hear kind of wailing and sobbing and kind of carrying on in distress. Ismark does not seem to pay that any mind whatsoever.
Is that
I will comment on it.
normal? Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that, Ash?
I said I'd comment on it and see what Bismarck has to say.
Ismark shrugs and kind of rolls his eyes. Well, that's Mad Mary's place. Her daughter left or went missing a couple of weeks ago. Not quite like the others. Her things were taken. No one else's has. So we think she left, but Mary's been pretty distraught about it ever since.
Now, was she called... Harmony doesn't want to call attention. Well, she'll kind of say from the back of the group, but keep her hood pulled pretty close around her. she called Mad Mary before this incident?
Ismark kind of chuckles a little bit. She's always been an odd one.
At the mention of oddity being shunned in this town, Harmony pulls her cloak or hood even tighter around her figures.
Okay. And then go ahead.
I'll knock on her door.
Okay. The sobbing doesn't seem to cease or change at a normal knock.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Continuing on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Heading down the street a little bit further, about 2 doors down from the manse, Ismark pauses and kind of points at this house on this side and just says, that was Gregor's house. He's the one who went missing a couple days ago, for what that's worth. And he sort of shrugs and keeps heading down towards the manse.
I understand that you're on a time crunch here.
Well, it's already out.
Okay.
So if you guys want to stop, Harmony will just kind of duck into just kind of either stay ahead of a group. She's basically just trying to keep her visage from Ismark, so just to avoid any awkward questions.
So coming down to the manse, you realize as you get closer, it has a kind of a iron fence around it, kind of 10 feet away from the walls of it. This clearly is sort of the mayor's house, or at least probably the nicest house in town, as it were. But approaching, you see that the gates are closed and have a chain lock around them. Ismark pulls out a key and undoes it to let you in. And you notice that the house does not have the same scratch and claw marks on the outside of it. Perhaps presumably because this fence is here. Although,
I would say, does
who's
the
to say?
fence look like it's...
It's like a 10-foot iron fence with spikes on the top.
Okay, but any kind of like wear and tear on that?
Hard to tell since it's metal.
Yeah, fair enough.
Other than just being older. But coming up to the front door, Ismark kind of bangs on it. You don't see a key or a lock on the outside, but he calls out, "Irina, we're here. I have guests." And a few moments later, a woman opens the door. She looks like this. And yes, she is wearing the armor and does have a sword with her. She kind of peers at all of you a little bit suspiciously, but then looks at Ismark, who kind of gives her a nod, and then she steps back to let you all into the house.
Harmony hides behind Winley.
That's fair.
And Winley hasn't been using disguise self, right? She's
No.
been just full for bold.
Yeah.
No, just a big old gal.
I would say full fur bull doesn't quite have the same impact as full tiefling.
Yes.
Who's to say?
Or a different kind of impact at the very least.
Indeed. Coming into the house, does anybody stay outside, first of all?
Nah.
Okay. Coming into the house, and I'm going to just take us off the map here again so we have more of the role-playing vibe. Coming into the house...
Honey, sorry. Sunny's going to wait outside.
Okay. Coming into the house, you notice a couple of things. This house is reasonably well kept. There's kind of some older furniture and the likes. You do notice that most of the windows have been boarded up in some way, shape, or form. There are shafts of light coming through, but they've definitely added some planks. It looks like recently, given sort of the state of maybe what's going on in the town. You also notice the scent of decay. And a very particular scent of decay most of you would be familiar with, which is kind of sounds like the smell of somebody who is decomposing.
Oh, the father, right?
Is that going to make it difficult to sleep, or...?
It's all up to you.
Oh, great.
Ismark sort of gestures you all in and closes the door behind and goes about barring the door. Irina sort of walks across the main room and turns to look back at you and kind of still seems to be eyeing you a little bit warily. But Ismark kind of throws his arms wide and says, "Well, welcome. This is our abode. I'll ask that you stay out of the dining room. My father is in repose at the moment. We're hoping to bury him before tomorrow night, as he would have wished. But otherwise, again, the rooms are at the back of the house. There should be enough for all of you to have your own if you need to rest. We'll simply suggest, although I certainly can't stop you, suggest you perhaps don't go out at night if you planned on it. And certainly, please make sure the door is barred. If you're going to leave, you can ask Irina or myself to do that. I don't want to inconvenience you, but please don't leave the doors open."
At the mention of it, and again, kind of ducking her face to the side, Harmony will say, "Before tomorrow night? What's tomorrow night?"
My father was a follower of the Morning Lord. Custom would dictate he should be buried within a week of his passing.
Okay.
Ash, I don't suppose you have gentle repose?
Oh.
Well, it was worth an ask.
So we'll be long resting essentially through the daytime. It seems like. Is that correct?
Sort of up to you. You can you're getting closer to noon, but it's not quite noon yet. Based on your timeline, you'd be resting into the evening. Whether you want to rest into the evening or whether you want to rest all the way until the following morning is your choice.
Well, given that the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah,
I mean, Harmony's open to resting during the day and... Well, okay. Well, I guess before we actually fall asleep, if we have a bit of privacy, just amongst the five... Is Rocco with us? Did he...
No, he seems to have stayed with the Vistani at the tavern.
Okay, I guess we'll try to...
I'm okay with him being there.
We know where Madame Eva is, so... So I guess if we have a bit of privacy amongst the five of us in whatever accommodations we're given, Harmony will kind of want to touch base and be like, so what's our plan here? I mean, obviously we're going to rest. Are we going to head to attempt to make it to Madame, the Vistani encampment where Madame Eva is? Or does anyone else have any other intentions in this place we've found ourselves?
I mean, I'm vaguely interested to see if we could help this town any, or even see if we could look into this daughter that has gone missing. But at the same time, those are just kind of side objectives for me right now. I think my objective right now is to get rested up and then go meet up with Madame Eva so we can get some hopefully better answers about what's going on in general.
I'm thinking I'm just gonna rest outside since it's nice and sunny right now. Does anyone want to just sit out, rest outside with me? Inside of the fence, obviously.
Yeah. If you want some company,
I could do that. My big thing is I wanted to check out Gregor's place before it gets dark. So if there's time for a rest before that, cool. If not, then I'd probably do that before the rest.
You have not encountered a day-night cycle here, so you're not quite certain if you took the full rest, whether that would put you in the dark or sunset or twilight or still during the day.
That's fair.
You know, based on just a clock, you'd be well rested by about maybe 6 p.m. or so.
Okay. I'm probably not going to roll those dice, so I'd probably...
I mean, can I ask... Mina would be very curious about that. Can I...
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark, hey, so... How long is the day going to last? How long do we have until nightfall?
He kind of peers out one of the windows and looks up at the sky. I'd say maybe 8 or 9 hours.
Okay.
That's still cutting it closer than I'd like, because I don't know how long the house will take, so I'd probably want to do that before the rest, just to play it safe.
Okay.
Okay, Harmony nods, says, well, given the... I will be more used to you if you intend to probe around the problems afflicting this town after I have slept off our travails so far, so we can reconvene. We're obviously, if my intention is to go and sleep immediately, which will put us our awaking time around nightfall. I don't imagine we intend to strike out for Madame Eva's at the night anyways, correct?
No, absolutely. We are not traveling at night if we can avoid it in this place.
Then we can see how we wish to proceed based on the results of your investigation. But I need some rest.
Yeah, no.
I think we should just plan on then resting here and inside the house, of course. And I think we should stay here overnight.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is going on the disappearance house search?
Me,
I'll
obviously.
go.
Okay. Winley, Dockerin, anybody else?
Sure, I'll go in.
Mina? Okay. Harmony staying in the house?
Yes.
Okay. Ash?
I'll stay in the house.
Okay. So heading back up the street, it is only...
sorry, real quick before we go. Ash, do you have any spell slots left?
I have no spell slots left.
Okay, I was going to ask for a top off before I went out there, just in case.
Yeah, no,
Of healing,
that's why I
I
want
can
to
give you a
rest.
cure wounds.
I have nothing.
You want a good berry?
That's 1 HP, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can give you a cure
I would say,
wounds.
Winley's offered a cure wound, so I'll take that for now.
Sure.
Don't want to fill up on those things.
I have 12.
Wow.
Back.
Neat.
Okay.
Mina eats 3 good berries.
All right. Very full and slightly rejuvenated.
Yep.
Okay. Heading back up the street, it is literally only 2 doors down from the manor.
That's the other reason I'm okay with doing this, is because the mansion is in sprinting distance if it gets right down. If it, it's
Sure.
too bad.
Approaching, the door is closed. There doesn't seem to be any really light on inside the house.
Okay. Is it locked?
It is not locked.
Okay. I mean, I have dark vision. Do you as well, Winley?
I do not.
You don't? Okay.
Okay.
Run across the street again real quick and have Bash cast light on something for you, maybe.
Okay. Coming inside the house, you can see immediately there was some sort of struggle here. The couch and the kind of coffee table are overturned, and there appears to be a decent amount of other disarray. Anybody who's here can make a investigation check.
You want to just give me a help action on that, or
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what you're
you-
investigating.
mine's-
I'm running on a +5 for it.
Mine's 3.
And
so
guidance.
That's fine. And I can give you a guidance as well.
All right, cool.
I'll just run another one. I'm not very good at
That's
it.
a
but-
21 total on that then.
Okay.
You can't help twice, right? Like
No.
if I help, it doesn't.
No, only once. All right, so with a 21, you find a couple of other things here in the main room, and in searching the rest of the house doesn't seem to be in quite this state. Whatever happened here seems to have happened in this entryway. But in the main room, you find a broken candlestick with a bit of blood on the edge of the candlestick. You also find a silver necklace with a broken clasp. This pendant resembles the wooden pendants you found in Garrett's house.
So
And
what we're assuming is the Morning Lord symbol.
and that appears to be the majority of what you find. Mina, you can make a perception check.
Oh, I love those.
And actually, Sunny can make this. I'm sorry.
Okay, Sunny.
It is scent-based.
Yeah. All right. I kind of. Yeah. So disregard that advantage roll from before because I had fucked it up anyway. So all right. Sunny has a perception of +5 with advantage, so 18.
Okay. Sunny seems, as Docrin finds the candlestick, seems to be picking up on that scent of blood, and seems to indicate that coming out of the house through the front door, it seems to be heading to the north.
Mina will relay that. Sunny seems to have picked up some kind of a trail.
Since it's already a couple of days old, can he hold on to that to morning, or?
Is that something Sunny is usually able to do?
I mean, the scent or trail of blood would not go away with another night unless something got rid of it, right? If it rained, or if something worse smelling kind of overrode it.
Well, Mina will and whoever else wants to go, obviously, but Mina will follow Sunny at least to if
to the
it's leaving
edge of town, yeah.
Yeah, to the edge of town.
So, following the trail, does anybody go with Mina, or is Mina taking that following solo?
I mean, we're definitely not in. We're bringing buddies with us at this point, I think.
Yeah. Mina doesn't charge off on her own. She says, "I'd like to follow the trail to see if it leads town."
If the house is otherwise tapped, then yeah, I would go with Mina.
Okay. Following the trail, you follow it essentially back up to the town square. Sunny seems to lose the trail at the pile of zombie corpses you have generously provided the town with in the last hour.
Is anyone dealing with that, or?
No. However, they do seem to be decaying away rather rapidly.
Okay.
The bones will end up being left behind, but nobody's street sweeping this.
Yeah. Nobody's putting him in a pile to burn or anything like that.
Okay.
Mina will get to work on that, and because these should probably be disposed of, and if no one else is obviously running out to do that.
When you say they're decaying quickly, abnormally quickly?
They're already desiccated pretty aggressively.
So yeah, I'll make a big pile of corpses in the middle of the square.
Okay. As you're also, just as a side note, as you're walking back up the street, when you're passing Mad Mary's house, there's still sort of the sobbing and wailing, but you can all notice, because your past perceptions are all fantastic, you can all notice that she seems to be peering out of one of the windows down at you.
Darkern will kind of do a friendly wave.
When you do that, she kind of ducks back into the house.
Oh, okay. So she was lurking. She was not. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you're piling and burning the bodies, you know?
Yeah, and
Winley
then
will assist with that as well.
head back to the manor after that.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Upon heading back to the manor, do you share and report, or what do you all go about doing?
So to clarify, it terminated with the zombies or with the house that the zombies came out of? Like
the zombies.
Okay, so
So I guess before Mina will kind of get them all like piled / arranged somewhere in the middle of the square, and before burning them, if anyone else is there, she'll invite them to help. But we'll look them over and Mina is maybe thinking that the guy was attacked in his house and then his zombie came here, or maybe whoever or whatever is creating the zombies went from house to house, and that's the trail that Sunny found. But
it seems it didn't lead to a zombie specifically. The trail seems to have been blocked or otherwise destroyed by the zombies.
Oh, okay.
gotcha.
That makes sense.
There was
Okay.
too many sends at that point.
Yeah. Well, if no one objects, then I'll light the pyre. I'll try to burn them as much as possible.
Can Sunny try going beyond the square to see if he can pick it back up on the far side somewhere? Or
Sure.
We'll do that while
sorry, not trying to play Mina for you.
No,
but-
I appreciate it. While Mina is dragging bodies around, yeah, Sunny can kind of trot around those nearby alleyways.
Go ahead and make another perception check.
Love those. So since he's sniffing, he's specifically sniffing, so that's why I rolled his advantage. So he has a 21 on that.
He is actually not able to pick it up past the square.
Worth a shot.
Okay. What else is anybody doing upon the return to the manor?
I would double check. So, how frequently are people going missing? Every other day, or how...
Ismark told you it was about once a week. Somebody seems to go missing.
Okay.
And that's been going on longer than the zombie thing.
Okay. About how long?
About a year.
So in the square we had the wine, the chard, and the pastries.
Mm-hmm.
How long have the pastries been coming into town for?
Ismark shrugs. A couple of years, probably.
Okay, fair enough. I had to ask. Sorry, that bit was the player. Well, shit. Okay.
I think we should rest.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody doing anything else before the party rests?
No, that was kind of my main thing. If the lady is trying to hide from us or whatever, then I'm not going to push the issue. So.
Okay. And then the plan was to rest through the night, or you're resting into the evening?
Doing the long rest and then probably just futzing around.
Into the evening, and then, we're not setting out for Madame Eva's tonight, but if anybody wanted to try to, who knows what trouble will arise, but at the very least, I guess we could try to find out a little more about what's going on
At
around
the very
here.
least, I was planning on. I was not planning on going out at night. I'm not going to roll those dice if the locals are saying that's a bad idea.
Okay. Then as far as kind of your experience goes, everybody's taking the long rest, correct?
That was Harmony's already started one.
Already conked out as soon as
Yes.
everyone else left.
Ash?
Yes.
Mina?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Dogrin?
Yep.
Okay.
Are we? Is anyone pulling? Are we pulling watch, or are we calling it good since we're
We
in?
have the time to stagger them, so yeah, I think we should do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. What order of watch would you like to do? And for how long?
I would say I'm
Yeah.
one of the closer to fresh, I think, in terms of resources and stuff. So I'll take first.
Okay.
I need to look up the circumstances in which to remove a level.
It's just after a long rest.
Oh, okay.
If memory serves, you can feel free to double check.
I'm
reasonably sure it's
checking just to make sure. Finishing a long rest. Yep. Okay. Provided the creature has also ingested some food and drink, which we have.
If anyone needs a good berry, I still have a couple left. Just for the food purposes, I know we're resting.
Okay. So Dockeran's taking first. Who's taking second?
I'll go second.
Okay. Who's taking third?
The staggering watches.
Watch. I'll take it.
I'll take
Yeah,
last
that's fine.
watch.
Okay. Well, so as part of the question here is you have your long rest until the evening, but then there's also the overnight factor. So are we trying to get ourselves all the way to the morning here, or are we just resting until the evening?
I mean, I think we're long resting as long as it takes to long rest in a way where we can also keep watch.
I would say
And
mechanically,
then
I think we're long resting until the evening, and then just relaxing through the
I
night.
mean, I'd like to go just outside the house within the fence to see if we see anything.
Okay.
I'm curious if we can see things running around at night.
I would say, are any of the doors unboarded sufficiently to be able to just watch from inside, or not
I
really?
mean, you can peek through pretty much any window. They're not perfectly well boarded up. So if you want to just look through the windows, you can.
And this house did not have any claw marks on it, correct?
Correct.
So that, I mean, I don't know, that gives me some confidence that we could maybe sit right outside. But yeah, resting until nighttime.
Okay. So then I just need one more person for watch. I have Docker and Mina. Ash taking the last. Who's taking the third?
Winley.
Winley. Okay.
Harmony is snoozing.
Just
Fully out.
nothing wrong with that. Okay, so everybody kind of lays down, rests, relaxes, all of that fun stuff. Those of you who are sleeping through the whole evening have a bit of a rough go of it. The same nightmares you had on the road before you entered into Barovia beset you again. The same painful stomach stabbing for Declan. Or Dockeran, excuse me, and the same kind of nightmares and horrors that you had previously. Quite notably, though, Winley, when your time to watch ends and you go to wake up Ash will not wake up. Ash, you are having a fantastic dream. It is by far just a great quality, wonderful, and decent dream. And Harmony, you're not on watch at all, but you are sleeping quite soundly as well.
Wonderful. Is there a long rest button on roll 20 somewhere that I'm not seeing?
No, you have to reset your own stuff.
Okay. Cool.
Winley, what are you doing with that?
With Ash not waking up.
Yep.
Little concerned. I'll try aggressively to wake her up, and if I can't get her to wake up, then I guess I'll go to Dockeran and
Okay.
or whoever. I guess it doesn't really matter. He's the tinkerer, the one who knows all of the things.
The closest thing we have to healer past.
Yeah, and be like, we have a bit of a problem.
Dockeran, it's not great to be woken up. It was nice to not have your nightmare going on, but you're still somewhat tired, given the time frame here. But yeah, you can go ahead and make a medicine check if you'd like.
Sure. Sadly, wisdom not a super great roll, but sometimes
not
you roll
bad.
well.
Ash is not dead. Ash is quite alive, but appears to be in somewhat of a comatose state in her sleep.
Okay, like
Which is as deep a deep sleep as you can get.
like drugged deep sleep, or just really
Not
deep sleep?
not something you can really tell, but I mean, like doing a big shake, little face smacking, splash of water in the face. Nothing seems to be waking her up.
If you could try to wake Harmony up for a watch, even though, I mean... I guess, I don't know.
Not to metagame too hard, but I suspect I'm going to get a similar result.
Well, I guess
if
we'll see. You could try.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Harmony 2 will not wake up.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we're not... They haven't been asleep for an alarmingly long time yet.
right. How long is each watch? Could Winley
2 hours.
Could Winley just take Ash's watch and still get a full? Well,
No.
I mean, if we're staying all night, I could still sleep 8 hours and be
Yes.
like take the
So if
long rest.
you push through to the morning, you could, but at least in the current 8-hour long rest, no.
Could Sunny take a watch?
Probably not.
Leads
Not
not
very
to
effectively.
Take a watch, yeah.
Just let the wolf take a watch.
Okay,
So
no, that's fine.
better senses than Mina does. So.
Okay. All right. So Sunny is, I'm sure, a little bit annoyed at being woken up by somebody other than Mina. But Sunny seems to understand the cut of the jib, particularly with Winley talking, and seems to consent to keeping watch.
Cool.
Okay. That said, you've made it through the 8-hour phase here of resting. It is now kind of the early evening. The sun is definitely setting. And so does anybody care to do anything before night falls?
Take a note of the actual time that night falls, just for future reference.
It seems to be about 7-ish.
Does
No
Harmony
flock, but
wake up at the end of a long rest? Or at the end of an 8-hour rest?
nope.
Oh, great.
Oh, balls.
Does Mina wake up?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's those
Just the
two.
exhausted people.
Yeah.
Seems like that's the.
Mina's like, what's going on?
They're also the two that had the pastries.
Oh yeah. When
Granny!
we'll fill Mina in, be like,
Bitch did it.
Harmony and Ash won't wake up.
That's weird. Sleepily.
Yeah.
Say, did Ash take like doesn't the cleric have an option of taking like a medicine pouch or something like that? No, I don't remember now.
A healer's
Just
kit?
check. Yeah,
Harmony has one.
does that include like smelling salts or
I have
anything
no
like
idea.
that?
Let me look it up.
Sorry, I'm not casting Fairy Fire.
This is a leather pouch containing bandages, salves. I can post it in the chat, I think. I'll just do that.
Smelling salts?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Just because it's the nicer version of, well, or I guess we have to actually do physical
no, it
damage
doesn't,
in order to try to.
It's a leather pouch containing bandages, salves, and splints. The kit has 10 uses. As an action, you can expend one use of the kit to stabilize a creature that has 0 hit points without needing to make a medicine check.
Fair enough.
So I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. Okay. It was worth an ask.
I'm sure Sunny will be happy to bite Harmony.
I was really hoping to not actually do damage to the sleeping people, but...
Yeah. I mean, worst case, we do like an unarmed attack. Just punch them.
Well, and the other concern is that do they still...
A slap is good.
So it's been 8 hours, so they still get so they still count as having had a long rest if we do smack them awake, correct?
You sure do.
Yep.
So...
And what are they... Okay, let me look it up. I don't know what the healing rules for long rests are.
That's just a full reset.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, short rests are where you can use your
Right.
your
Hit die.
Yep.
Alright, who wants to punch Ash awake?
I mean, Winley will slap him in the face, like, hard, and see if that wakes him up.
It does not.
Okay, what if I actually punch her?
That too does not.
Oh, that's a problem.
I think,
Should we ask... Yeah, let's ask... crap, what's his name?
Ismar.
Ismark, yeah. Like, is this a thing? Like...
Is this normal in Barovia?
Yeah, how normal is this on a scale of 1 to Barovia?
Ismark comes in and kind of looks at the looks at Ash and kind of shrugs. I've never seen this before.
God damn it.
Now, would anybody need to roll something to remember that we were the two who ate from the vendor cart? Or...
It hasn't been that long.
Right, so just saying that's, Harmony can't say anything,
that,
but that's
yeah,
a commonality.
The other commonality besides these are the two exhausted people.
Right.
So unless exhaustion really messes you up in Barovia, which, it wouldn't surprise
Certainly
me.
possible.
Yeah.
Mina's smoke and Sunny's barking does not seem to have any effect on them.
Is there... Okay, I'm sorry, I won't talk.
That's fine. Like...
Well, my thought was whether there was any commonality between people who shopped at Granny's cart and people who disappeared, but I don't know if anybody would have tracked that sort of thing.
Paid that close of attention. I didn't actually change my character sheet, but I was actually going to swap out my spells to swap out Alarm for Detect Magic. Can I ritual cast Detect Magic and see if there's anything screwy going on there?
I also have Detect Magic as a racial trait if you don't want to use that spell slot.
Yeah, go for it.
Well,
I mean, I was gonna
ritual
cast
casting.
it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So 6 to 1 half dozen the other, really, unless you can also ritual cast it. But...
No.
Oh, so I will.
I can do it once a day.
Yeah, so best not to expend resources if we don't have to then. So
That'll happen. Casting Detect Magic on Ash, or...
I think it's just a vision.
Within 30 feet.
Thing.
I was just reading it. You sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you.
So yes, you can sense both magic on Ash as well as on Harmony. You also note that because you're casting this and you have it, the very fine cloak you found in the house, it also seems to be magical.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot I had that.
Oh yeah, Harmony was interested in wearing that, but we didn't figure out what it was yet.
Let me add that to my inventory before I forget about it.
We have it written down
I
in
think it
the
was
loot.
the bag,
Oh, do we?
the
Okay.
bag of holding.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So are we just like all kind of gathered around in a room, gathered around Ash and Harmony?
I also learned schools of magic. Do I
Yeah, I was just
get
about
school
to
of
say
magic
that.
from either the sleeping people or the
It
cloak?
appears to be enchantment.
Of course.
In both cases, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And in the case of the cloak, abjuration.
Ah, okay. Okay, I gotcha. All right. Does it appear to be going strong, or is it going to? Does it look like it's going to fade over time? I assume I don't get that level.
You
of
do
detail.
not get that level of detail.
Yeah, fair enough.
Somebody go shake down Granny before she gets away.
Does Winley
It's already
think that a
nighttime.
lesser restoration would take this away?
You have no basis with which to make that evaluation.
Okay, that's fair.
Do I, since I'm the one detecting the magic?
No,
or-
because all you know is that it's enchantment of some variety.
Would we call that spell Lestoration?
God damn it!
That should have been in the
You
chat.
need
I
to
apologize.
shut the hell up.
I don't think they're blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. So probably
Right,
lesser restoration.
I would think it would be
No.
more of a dispel magic than a.
Yeah. Which is not one that I have.
Do they? So they both fully ate the pastries and didn't hold on to any, correct?
That was the description as I understood it.
I'm-
Ash also paid some to Sunny, the Sunny tax.
Sunny ate some.
Is Sunny
But
still
Sunny
asleep?
woke up.
Sunny woke
Sunny's
up.
been awake.
Oh, so Sunny wasn't exhausted,
But maybe.
Or it doesn't affect animals.
Yeah.
or it's a sapience thing. Yeah.
Right.
Well, Mina, just while we're investigating this, Mina's gonna just kind of wherever we are, if we're standing in a room just next to the sleeping Ash and Harmony, Mina just kind of wants to keep watch, either in the hallway outside of that room or just making sure nothing is trying to.
Yeah. Watch the windows maybe just to make sure nothing's going on outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. With everything you guys are doing, it is now fully dark.
Yeah, and that was going to be my other thing is we can't shake down Granny because nobody is going to be outside at this point, I assume. So.
Yeah, we'll make it so the two of you are spooning. We'll put you in.
It's what they would have wanted.
Yeah.
That's not going to be awkward at all when they wake up.
Yeah. Well, is this a thing? Mina asks the more magically inclined. Is this a thing that we could wait a little while and see if it goes away?
Can I do an Arcana check to see if this sounds like any kind of spell or anything I've heard of?
Sure.
We have all night.
We literally have all night, yes.
Yeah, I'll actually do an Arcana check as well.
Okay. And no, it is not a history check.
I don't know jack shit.
I know everything.
Wow!
Docrin is well aware enough that, so there are some major enchantments and powerful enchantments that can last a long time, but most enchantments tend to last a couple of minutes to a couple of hours. Docrin doesn't know which of these it is, but it expects that if it's an enchantment, it's not going to last forever.
Okay, so not forever
Just
is...
let it wear off,
yeah.
Wait till morning, and if it hasn't worn off, see if
Then
there's
we-
someone in town who could
Yeah, so
help.
we shake down Grady in the morning if they don't
Yeah.
wake up on their own accord.
Yeah.
And then we shake her down anyway if they do wake up so that we can...
And I'd be like, excuse me.
Don't let us get eaten during the night.
I mean,
please.
yeah, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, with that realization, it's okay, we'll play it conservatively for now, and then if they aren't awake in the morning, then we're gonna go go beat up an old lady about her because her pastries were so good that our people never woke up.
Well, even if we do wake up,
No, that's what I said. We will.
Still go talk.
Regardless, we're talking to her. It's just
If she happens to be there.
setting the tone of.
Yeah.
Are you guys trying to rest him through the night? Are you all staying up all night? How are you approaching
Yeah,
that?
I mean, definitely gonna stay awake through the night.
Okay. Is everybody
I would
doing
say,
that?
I would say like probably still taking shifts, but like resting more casually, not
Yeah,
sleeping
yeah.
or anything, but relaxing.
Agreed.
Okay.
And Mina's gonna fish through Harmony's like cloak or whatever and find that neat hooded lantern that you loaned me back in the murder house.
oh, Harmony keeps that on her pack, so that's probably pretty visible.
Yeah, she'll just like unclip the and Mina's gonna light that up so she can see in the dark.
And it still has some oil in it. I think it's like a couple hours worth. I'll double check. But we used it. Well, how long were we in the death house?
Couple of hours.
Okay, let me double check. Oh, it's for 6 hours. So if you were using it for most of the death house, then it's probably got like 4 hours left on the current flask. And Harmony has one more flask in her pack just for bookkeeping purposes.
Sure. What's the lighting? I know you've said it's dark outside the house. Is there any lighting outside the house at all? And then what's the light situation like inside the house?
Inside the house, there are a couple of essentially candles lit, providing illumination. The dining room, which I'm sure you guys have checked out at least briefly, where the burgomaster's body is very well illuminated. There's candles all around his coffin, which is sitting on the dining room table. And then outside of the house, there's no light other than kind of pale moonlight, kind of filtering through from the clouds.
Okay.
Question. Time frame wise, so we did our long rest like during the day, and then the events that are happening right now where we can't be woken up is at night.
I mean, you couldn't be woken up at the end of the 8 hours of rest, Ash, and then now it's night and you're still not waking up.
Right. Okay. So, but that's the time frame we're in right now. Is the night.
Yep.
Rest. Okay.
Yep.
I thought we had already gotten past the nightfall, and this was the next day. I was confused that we were going
Nope.
to do a whole night.
Just overnight. So everybody's staying awake. Nobody's actually sleeping overnight, but some people are just kind of taking it easy, while some people hold the watch.
And probably cycling that out every couple hours or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
What are
Go ahead and give me the order of the watch, please.
what are the other residents up to beyond them telling us?
I mean, I assume they're actually sleeping.
Between Ismark and Irina being told that okay, they're not awake.
And they both just go to bed when it gets dark.
Anyone is welcome. We're welcome to join in whatever order you want, but Mina is going to be on watch the entire time. She has no reason not to be alert and on guard for
Okay.
this entire.
Yeah, I was mostly going with I want to keep resting on and off just so that we aren't invoking the exhaustion this time tomorrow. Just as a matter of sleep or whatever. I don't remember exactly how those rules work, but
You can go for a day without a long rest, but after 24 hours, you gain a level of exhaustion.
okay.
So essentially, you could, for those of you who've just slept for that whole long rest period, you can make it until tomorrow evening before you were dealing with exhaustion. Assuming you don't sleep again during overnight. So Mina, you're staying up the whole time. Docker, and you're going on and off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And during one of those offs, like I said in chat, I want to do a short rest to identify the cloak because that I forgot we had.
Okay. So that said, Docker, and I saw your note. Your short rest, you identify the cloak as a cloak of protection +1.
Ooh.
And then Mina.
Sorry, Harmony.
Mina, since you are kind of holding down the fort the whole evening, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Sure will.
Suppose you were the tank.
And so Mina is going to be obviously perceiving as best she can, and then she has Sunny just kind of sitting at her heels or following at her heels if she's like patrolling a little bit, and he's going to be like specifically sniffing the air. So that's why I'm going to roll his with advantage because he's smelling for anything unusual. So here's Mina looking around for anything strange. 18. And then Sunny sniffing the air beside her gets a 17.
Okay. Sunny doesn't smell anything, but kind of close to midnight, Mina hears, kind of coming from one of the windows, hears a voice gently whispering, "Irina." herein. When Mina goes to investigate the window, there is nothing outside.
Mina will not keep that. Well, she doesn't like go run screaming to find her allies, but she'll immediately go after taking a minute to look out the window, see if anything was there. You know, if you're confirming that she doesn't see anything, then she'll go back and say, "Hey, just so you all know, just so we're all on the same page, I just heard a strange whisper." She just explains to everyone what happened, or to the people who are able to be awake.
Okay.
She's in that room.
That said, nothing else occurs over the rest of the night, and as the sun peaks up over the horizon, those of you who are sleeping through the night do awaken, Ash and Harmony included. Ash, you are receiving 10 temporary hit points, and Harmony, you receive 2 temporary hit points.
Good morning. Oh, what a comfortable bed. I needed that.
Who was it that got fully socked by wind?
Well,
Oh yes, spectacularly. How'd the and Harmony's like wiping sleep out of her eyes. How'd the investigation go at the disappeared And she is sunlight like coming through the?
Yep. It is morning.
Goodness, I sleep through the entire day.
Yeah, I'm kind of curiously looking around. I'm like, why didn't someone wake me up from my shift?
Why does my jaw hurt?
Do
You don't
feel
just casually have a black
fine?
eye.
I mean, do we feel? Does Harmony
You feel great.
fine? Oh,
You feel
great.
well. Your exhaustion is gone. You
Temporary
feel
hit
very
points.
well rested. Temporary hit points. Best sleep you've had in years.
Harmony bounds out of bed and is like, "All right, well, should we make preparations to head off for Madame Eva's?"
We couldn't wake you up at all last night.
That's odd. That was the best sleep I've had for a really long time.
Harmony, always been a
Like,
very...
you were enchanted levels of sleep. Like, we looked into it, and yeah, you were both enchanted somehow.
Is it? And Harmony will kind of like lower her voice to a whisper. Is it our patrons?
Can you speak loudly?
Is it our patrons? Are we... Do you think they... Why would they have enchanted us and not the rest of you?
I don't think so, because... I mean, they were both fully asleep at the time as well, and they didn't really have a chance to do anything. Like, they left us to our own devices, basically, once we got here, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, if it was just the two of us... Granny!
Granny!
I'm feeling really good. Anyone up for morning pastry? I mean, this is gonna roll.
Ooh, yeah, you know, that sounds pretty good. Almost too good. Ash, do you think... I mean, we were the only ones to eat from that cart yesterday, correct?
I mean, it was just food. I'm sure it was fine.
Oh. Sure, but it's an odd coincidence at the very least.
Right.
I mean, 2 SPs or 2 silvers a pretty generous rate for a magical sleep aid.
It was 1 silver for the pastry.
Oh, even better.
Ash,
Two silver for the wine.
I always appreciate your ability to try to see the good in people and places, but I strongly think that we should all try to live on our own supplies until we can determine.
I feel fantastic, so whatever happened, I mean, it can't be that bad.
But what if something had attacked in the night and the two of you were absolutely unwakeable? I mean, hey, I'm not trying to control you, Ash. You're a dear friend of mine. I respect your decisions, but I feel like maybe we should avoid consuming.
More enchanted pastries? Yeah, probably.
Yes, agreed.
Up then.
Harmony nods and says, "I've trained myself to be a light sleeper over the years because for that very reason, so being insensate, especially in a dangerous place such as this, is hardly advisable. I personally, as pleasant as that sleep was, would be interested in having a talk with the
Yeah.
old woman if she's out there, because I don't like being enchanted
Yeah.
without my consent. So, if it's all the same to all of you.
Yeah, no, we should definitely go have a talk with her.
As you are discussing this, you hear a knock at the front door of the manse, and with that, that will be the end of our session.